Right.
Yeah, go for it.
What else?
I think we're on. I'm not sure. Yes, we are.
We are.
Hello. Right, does anyone want to do a sound check while we're just setting up? Because we're obviously a little bit early. So,
1 2 1 2.
1 2. Do you want to check it on your phone? Oh, it hasn't actually started yet.
No, live in 118.
No, fair enough.
I can see you.
You can see us.
Okay.
So Mike's behind. Could you let us know in the live chat comments if we are live?
There we go.
You can see us, and then if we are, hello. I'm just going to check on my phone and make sure that we have actually gone on because we've clicked it a little bit early. What's everybody saying? Good evening. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
If everybody could just confirm in the comments you can hear us because we had a little bit of a faff with the sound when we were setting up. But if you can hear us, hello. I'm Scott.
I'm Mike.
I'm Mark.
You sure?
Positive.
Not Mike tonight then.
Not Mike tonight.
No,
This is the
excellent.
dinosaur.
And then, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is our new
This is the new
recruit.
team member.
This is my little boy's dinosaur that we were using to test if we were actually on screen. So, yeah, you can have the night off now, pal. You can sit and eat a chair along with Mike.
So the consensus is everyone can hear us.
Everybody can hear us.
It's a good start.
It's a good start,
Yeah.
so we can actually start doing this properly now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've not seen you for a while. What's
No.
your excuse?
Oh, I've got loads of them.
Come on, do the dance. Do the dance. Where have you been?
Yeah, I was at Clubland at the weekend, so.
He's still got the same clothes on, as you can see from the wristband. This is going well, isn't it? So tonight we are going to... Actually, it's weird because normally I sit and watch the comments, and in the title of this live stream it said Becca's with us. Well, Becca is with us. Becca is currently about to appear on camera, hopefully. But yeah, Becca is watching the comments and is just making sure that we have no live stream issues. Of course, this is the first time we've done it like this because COVID now lets us.
Yeah.
Because when we first did live streams, we had to do it from different houses, which meant the connection was a bit naff. And yeah, it was a bit of a pain for us, wasn't it, really? Because your connection was terrible at home, so you just couldn't join us anyway.
Dial-up.
The internet hasn't got as far as Wigan yet.
Yeah, this is the thing in Wigan, they're still on dial-up, and so they just eat lots of meat and potato pies, I believe.
Or a pound cake, mate.
And, what is a barm cake?
But
Oh, I'm surrounded by
a
barm
barm.
cakers here, aren't I? For goodness sake. Right, anyway, so tonight we're going to be talking about what Pleasure Beach Experience is going to be covering over the Halloween season. So we'll get straight onto that, and at some point Mike's going to go and have some chocolate bourbons with Becca whilst me and Mark talk all about what we're looking forward to over the Halloween season. But just to get straight into it so we can sort of kick off with something and have a bit of a purpose of conversation, we are starting with Tully's Shocktoberfest. Yes, but not just once, twice. Can't wait. So we're going on Friday and Saturday. It is a 4-hour drive from here, which means for you it's almost a 5-hour drive, which is what... That's why we're doing 2 nights, because it is such a long way and we absolutely love it there. We always have such a great night. And then next week, to really confuse everybody, we're doing Blackpool Pleasure Beach's Freak Night and Fort Park Fright Night on the same night. We're splitting up, and some are covering Blackpool, some are covering Fort, so that's going to be nice and confusing for everybody to follow on our social media platforms. But we'll try and make that as seamless as possible by actually communicating with each other at all times to go, I'm doing a post on socials.
Yeah.
After that, we've then got the Howell Open Mead Screen Park, which you're not sure if you're going to get there from work yet, are you?
Not sure, but hopefully I'll be able to get down there for the start of it. Or at least just after anyway, at the latest.
Yeah, and then on the following night, we've got Hallow Scream York, which I don't know if Mike's joining us yet. You need to...
No, I don't think I am on that one.
No, he's not coming on that one. So that's definitely going to be yours. I'm not sure who else is coming on that one yet.
Definitely going to be us.
Then we've got Screenfest Burton, which you are coming on that one,
Yeah.
because I've bullied him into it, made him cancel football. So because we are driving to Portsmouth the next day, because we're going to Terror Island on the Isle of Wight. I have to say Isle of Wight because Mark will tell me off if I call it the Isle of Man by accident again, because I keep doing that. Then we've got Horror at Hitchinbrook, which Mark's doing on his own because I'm too scared to do it this time.
Absolutely not. There's no way in hell I'm doing that on my own. Absolutely no chance.
He's already been baiting all the actors on Twitter, which
Yeah.
Not baking nobody.
No, Mark may have mentioned a few times on Twitter and Insta that we're going, and a couple of actors have
I've
got
not mentioned nothing. I'm sure it's you that's mentioned it all.
nothing to do with me. The cameraman doesn't want to be harassed by anybody, so I'm just going to leave it all to you this time. You and Craig can get all the scares, and I'm just going to film it. So
I just want a big group of like 20 going through and then I can hide in it, you know what I mean?
You'll never get hidden in it.
no chance. And as it stands, the last sort of Halloween thing we're going to be doing is Blackpool Pleasure Beach, is Vampire Beach. So that's the Halloween sort of run through for the time being. We'll come back to that later on when Mike and Becca are ready to go and not talk about Halloween, because it's not really your thing compared to me and Mark. But at some point Becca's going to swap with me, because Becca's recently been to Energyland here for the first time and done her first ever RMC.
Woo!
Yeah, a ride that she might have an interesting view on because it surprised me. So what do we want to talk about? Coasters, because we've not done lots of new coasters yet, but obviously for me I've done Heidi Park and Hansa Park for the first time. Oh no.
The best comments already come in. With all these scare nights, has Mark invested a significant amount of
Go. Let's do some Q&A stuff. We're going to open this up to the comments now. So let's see some questions about the scare season, and go on. And do you want to answer that question?
It's going to be a long month. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a long month.
If there is any scare actors watching,
Target Scott.
please target this guy, because he doesn't scare easy at all, honestly. He likes to be scared, and
Doesn't take anything to be scared, let's be honest. But
one of the best times that I've had with Mark in a Halloween event was when he jumped at his own shadow in a mirror maze, and honestly nearly knocked me over. He jumped that far back. I had to cut it out because the filming was so bad. Because I was filming like this, he jumped back and the camera just went I was just like, yeah, I've got no chance here of filming this. So,
what about
your first question?
Yeah, bring the questions on, Becca.
Right, the most anticipated Halloween maze this year.
Oh, you know what? We've wrote down a load of answers to think about, like possible questions, and this is one we didn't think of.
Chop Shop.
Chop Shop at Tully's. I'm going to go with a cellar at Tully's because it's one that nobody talks about, and yet it always gets us. And it was the first one that collectively we did at Tully's in 2018, and that giant snake got Mike.
Oh Jesus, no!
And it just—I'll never forget that when Mike was all calm going through, and then this big snake, and he just like that. And it's like that set the tone, and it was, I don't like this. Get me out. Don't like this at all. So yeah, I guess Terror Island for you because it's new for us both, isn't it? Mike's not really looked at any of the stuff yet. I've just kind of gone, we're going to Screamfest Burton and Terror Island on these dates. Can you come to them? Mike's just like, yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
When you did Passage the other week,
yes,
Top Thrill tourists could tell where you were because you could hear Mark.
Standard. If you stand at the exit, you'll know when I'm coming through, even if it's just a start around the bedseat.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Passage is very, very good. Go on, Becca.
Right. Which is the scariest maze you've ever encountered?
Oh, now you're asking.
I mean, I'm not going to class Horror at Hitchinbrook as one maze, because that is the scariest event.
Yes.
In total. Scariest maze, Fleshbot.
Yes. I will put some links after the live stream into the actual comment section with past Halloween videos of PBE. I was going to do a little trailer for this video, but I thought rather than do that, we'd just get straight into it. Like I said, the next video on the channel on Thursday is a Blackpool Pleasure Beach vlog, but after that, then it is pretty solid on Halloween content. So there'll be lots of Mark jumping about, being scared. For me, one of the times I've been the most scared was probably the first ever time I did a maze, which was Hellgate at Thorpe Park in 2006. I think it was 2006 October. One of the most recent scary ones is definitely, collectively, was Horror at Hitchinbrook House, because we did not know what to expect. Being honest, we drove there and we were a bit like, we'd just been to Tully's, we'd just been to Frightmare, and we were a bit like, we've not heard of this event. We'll go, we'll see what it's like. There was no pictures online, no videos, just reviews, and we were like, do you know what? with no idea what to expect. Within 5 minutes, we wanted to go home. We were just terrified. We were genuinely like, is there a safe word? Because we were that scared. But at the same time, I was having such a good time that it was like, don't need a safe word, let's go for it. And the more we went on, the scarier it got, and it was just, yeah, for me it was absolutely terrifying. I can't think of an actual maze that's really got me bad, other than 7 at Fort Park, which is going back to probably 2011. And I was at the back of the group, and it was back in the day where you had to put your hands on the shoulders of the person in front of you. And I was at the back of the group, and obviously I knew it was at the back of the group, and then when I got hands on my shoulders, I was like, that shouldn't be happening, I'm at the back, get me out of here. And after that, I just got very nervous. About you?
I can remember there being a slaughterhouse type one at Farmageddon the year I went there.
The meat locker.
Yeah, that was meat locker. That was nasty. That one, really nasty.
I do remember
and watching the Horror and Hitching Book vlog, walking home through a particularly dark area near me, and regretting it. I ended up turning it off. I'm like, I don't like walking through here, having just watched that.
No, I'm not surprised, because in that there was a lot of screaming. Before we go to the next question, I do remember going through the meat locker with you at Farmageddon, and I remember one of the actors saying to you, this has always made me laugh when I've watched it back. One of the actors said to you, I'm going to cut you up to little pieces, and you just went, well, that'll take a while. And then just set me off laughing, because obviously you were nervous and you were just coming out with stupid stuff like that, and it was just, I always find that I do say silly stuff like that, but always have the fullest respect for the actors, 100%, because what they do I couldn't do. Not a chance. Especially scaring somebody like this guy. If I made you jump like you jump, I would just laugh. That's the thing.
Well, you did though, didn't you? When we went through Colony, when you pushed into me, and then I just started legging it past an actor.
I have no idea what happened there. Becca's itching to ask us another question.
What advice would you have for someone going to Tully's this year?
Right, okay, so I'll let you take this because you've got a particular order you like to do these things in.
Hit hayride early.
Yeah.
Regardless if you get fast pass, which I'd recommend anyway, hit hayride as early as you can, because even with fast pass, that takes a long time, because obviously you're on the trailer for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, because it is a long attraction, that one, because it goes all pretty much round the outside of the farm, doesn't it? And you've got all the different scenes, and there's a lot of scare acting in there. There's a lot of things that are going on when there's no scare actors.
Yep.
But like you say, it is the longest experience there. I'd always start with that, and I would always say leave the cellar to the end, because literally, like, if this is the entrance to Tully's, the cellar is here.
Everyone goes to
so everyone goes to it first. So if you can avoid that and do that, like, even halfway through your night, end of the night,
you'll just go through in a small group after that.
Yeah. And one last thing before we get to the next question is interact with the street theatre, because it makes the night for me. I think that is as good as the mazes, because some of the, like Mike squatting, you'll have like the time warp, yeah, and you've got the actor asking you to stroke their head, but it's like a weird bird creature.
Yeah.
You've got the evil twins. I don't think they're actually called evil twins, but you've got like you've got 3 clowns, haven't you? That go around. You've got Brian as well. Yeah, you've got so many actors that aren't inside the mazes, so yeah.
Take it from that side.
Yeah, definitely. Next question.
Right, so the next question is a bundle of questions, because a lot of people are asking about Pleasure Beach's journey to hell.
Okay.
So just in general, what are you anticipating? Do you think it will be more intense? And do you think they will do anything to the big one for Journey to Hell?
No comment. In terms of what to expect, I think it'll be totally different to 2019. That was obviously a story-led one by 2 or 1 actor, depending on the night, will sort of lead your group from haunt to haunt. I think it might be similar in that respect, but I don't think the verbal side of it will be quite the same. I don't think there'll be as much sort of interaction outside of the actual... I could be very wrong here.
I don't think there'll be like manhandling you were like there was last time.
No.
People around in the group. I think that'll all go.
Yeah, agreed. I think there'll be less shouting at you as well, and I think there'll be less waiting around, and I hope there's no water cannons this time, because that was cold.
Yeah, it was.
The end of October. There is obviously going to be rides involved, because Pleasure Beach have said as much. there's the cursed river caves, and there's other things going on. So I'm anticipating a very interesting event. I genuinely don't know what to expect because it's totally different to 2019, I think, and I think it'll just be a completely different experience.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah,
we will let you get a word
Yeah,
soon. We're just building you up.
I've not
you know.
really looked into it, so.
See, we're putting coal in you, and eventually you're just gonna like be full of fire, and that's it. We won't get a word in at that point. So we'll let you have your say in a bit. Is that all right?
Yeah.
You want to talk to the dragon here? I'll dragon die. All right, dinosaur.
Emma was quite disappointed that you put the dinosaur away. She only came to see the dinosaur, apparently.
That's fine. Come back. There you go. Hold on, this is for you. There we go. Bet you didn't know I could do that.
Yes, trust me, I know we could do that. Right, shall we have one last question then?
Yeah.
Would you like to have roles reversed and you lot be scare actors?
I'd like to have a go at it. You'd be scared.
I'd scare myself. To be honest with you. I'd jump out, they'd scream, and then I'd start screaming. And
He'd run away from half the victims.
Be running around and like, right, where's that actor role again? Like hiding in the back.
You would actually. You'd be like just sat in the green room going, "It's not for me." I'd like to have a go at it, but I don't think I'd like to be an actual actor in the maze. I think I'd enjoy being a roaming actor where you could just talk absolute nonsense to people all night. So I'd like to be a bit like we're doing now, actually.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to be like one of the chainsaw police officers at Tully's.
Are they chainsaws?
Yeah. I know they'd be heavy. I'd probably like chop my own foot off or something. But yeah, I'd quite like to be one of those that just roam, wouldn't you?
Well, no, because if I turned it on, I'd be dropping it and going.
You'd run away from yourself. Would you like to do it?
Yeah, it'd be quite fun, that. Just randomly walking around
Yeah.
being stupid, which is...
Yeah.
That
So would you
most of our
rather do
videos
it
anyway.
in a maze or outside?
Probably outside.
Yeah. Same.
Because I'm no good at acting, so...
No, that's the thing. If I could sort of do it outside of the maze and just roam and have a bit of freedom with the character I was, I'd actually really enjoy that, definitely. Maze or outside? What'd you say?
Maze.
Maze.
I'd just keep going round and see if someone's frightened. I'll just literally go round and just keep hammering them
Like
over and
they
over and
do
over.
to you?
Yeah, like literally see the same people over and over again. That would be me.
Yeah. Right, I think we'll come back to the individual events in a bit, or is it worth doing it now? What do you think? It's harder when it's live. You've got no time to think about what structure you're going to do it in. But the main thing was covering the Halloween to start with, so
yeah.
I don't know if there's any... I haven't got any questions in front of me, you guys have, so I don't know if there's anything you guys want to answer in particular. So, I know Mike generally scanned. It's confusing because you've got dark mode on and you haven't, so I'm kind of like, why is it so different?
I've got one for you then, just quickly off the screen. What's your thoughts on platform not returning this year? Will you miss it?
No.
Next year.
Yeah, it's back this year.
It's back this year now.
It goes at the end of this year.
I think it's had its time, to be honest with you. It'd be interesting what they're going to do with that space.
I think it's for a new coaster. I'm just gonna put it out there. I just think that space is going for a new coaster. I think it was Jack Silkstone that shared on Twitter the other day that an aerial photo of more of the trees being cut down, and I think that is a massive hint to a new ride going in that area. I've no idea what, but I'd love to see a new coaster at Thorpe now. I'm not in the boat of they need one desperately, but I think soon it will get to that point. But I think that's what's happening.
I'm certain as well.
Yeah.
I'm certain. Be able to put it to good use then, won't they? So that space.
What do you want them to
big
build?
area.
Big area. What do you want them to build?
Hyper.
I'd say I'd love an RMC, but I just don't see it happening. So I'd say a hyper. But I'd love to see something. Becca's going to frown at me off camera. I'd like to see something like Taron in one of the Merlin parks, but it isn't going to happen. So go with height. That's what I'm thinking.
I just think it'll look so good on the skyline.
Yeah.
When you go like left to right, or I'm guessing that's where the station will be, where platform is currently, and then just build a big B&M hyper on it.
It would be ace. I mean, obviously you've got the room that Loggers Leap would leave behind if that was to go as well. So, am I thinking of the right space?
Yeah, I am. The right space. I mean, they'd be able to leave Creek Freaking as a
of
throwback.
course. Yeah,
and then just
definitely.
build the station over that side.
So if it's going to go in that space, I always imagine like an RMC or a Woody going there because it's old town sort of theming. But there's no reason why something different couldn't be old town themed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, good evening to Mr. Toy.
Hello,
Who's
Craig.
Right, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Rather concerned that there won't be any fuel left for the chainsaws.
That's an interesting point actually, because I was talking to somebody else about this who actually runs a business that relies on chainsaws year round, and he was telling me that his business might actually have to come to a stop because of chainsaws not having enough fuel to sort of power them. But I would imagine that they'll be able to sort of deal with that. And the good thing is there is always, it's not like you fully rely on chainsaws in every scare. Obviously, chop shop, you need the chainsaws, but I'm sure that if they were the only chainsaws that they used in particular,
Yeah.
that'd be enough.
Them's the only ones that they used. The only other one that they used was at the end of Colony and the Reckoning.
Yeah.
So it was only the one. If they don't bring that back, it's all a change. But
Yeah, fair enough. It's definitely a good point, and I think it's, to be honest, like obviously there's been a lot of people buying fuel, and today we kind of had to go. Me and Becca went out for fuel before. We're like, well, we're driving the best part of 700 miles at the weekend. I need to go and fuel up because I don't want to leave it until Friday morning when I'm driving and go, I can't get any fuel, because in Crewe especially we've had a massive diesel shortage, which I've got a diesel car now. The other day I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So it is a worry definitely, but I think
I don't know whether it'll be a worry or what, because at the end of the day it'll just make the skirt maze or something like that. They'll have to think outside the box to create that same level of skirt that you've not experienced before. So
agreed.
I think that it might be a benefit of that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think so. Like you go to somewhere like Tully's and they'll know exactly what they're going to do if they can't use the chainsaws in chop shop. They'll have an alternative line of scares, and they're so creative. And as we've seen in all the times we've done Halloween events, actors think on their feet so well that sometimes they'll have a situation where they'll just come out with a phrase or a saying or a scare that just works for the moment. And I think a lot of that is because of how talented actors are.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so good evening to our friends in the Netherlands,
Hello.
who would
Hello.
like to know when we're going back and what outside of the UK events we might think about.
Cool. Do you want me to take the lead on
Yeah,
this
go
one
on.
for now? So, we would love to go to Wallaby Holland, firstly. We'd love to go back there. We were planning a Wallaby Holland event for 2020. Obviously, it came to an end when COVID came around. We were quite advanced in planning that as well. So, I'd love to go back and revisit that idea. Perhaps not next year. One thing we've been asked about a lot is an Energylandia event, which we're currently looking into. Something that we'd all love to do, and Becca
Agreed.
would love to do as well. No doubt about it. But something that is very advanced right now is we are looking at doing an event in Denmark in 2022, which I'm going to let Mark pronounce the parks because I'll make a terrible job of it.
Wait, Deja Sommerland is one. And
Yeah.
Deja's something else, isn't it?
It's Farup Sommerland, is it?
Farup Sommerland, something
Yeah.
like that.
So it's looking promising. That's what I'll say. And I've currently been asked to sort of pick a date or a month at least to get going on it. So I've looked at July because I'm thinking travel restrictions will hopefully by next July will have passed for us going to Denmark. So hopefully that can be done. That's something that I'd love to do. In terms of British events, there will be Pleasure Beach events quite frequently next season. I've already had that conversation with Pleasure Beach, whereas we're going to look at doing like a really big roller coaster club of Great Britain style event at Blackpool Pleasure Beach in the summer, maybe 3-day ERTs, behind the scenes tours, meals, talks. That's something that is like a dream event for me at Pleasure Beach. So, and obviously we'd not do it right next to Andy Hine's event because Andy Hine is an absolute legend, and we wouldn't want people to have to choose between two events because they would go to the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain because their Blackpool event is legendary. So we'd want to keep them well apart so people could do both. So lots of event planning going on in this room lately, and I absolutely love event planning. So there is going to be a scare season PBE event next year as well. It's looking good. We put an email out a couple of weeks ago asking for people's feedback on that one. and more than enough people who, to make that event happen, came back to me and said, yes, let's do it. So the wheels are in motion for that one too.
Next one, how was your trip to Germany?
Go for it.
Quality. Absolutely quality. At the end of the day, it was just, I don't know, it was good to get back to Hyde and Hansa.
Yeah.
If you've never been, literally get yourself over it, because of two fabulous parks, and Colossus is an exceptional wooden coaster. I thoroughly recommend when going on it, and it was good to get back on Carnan with its surprise element. It's just a great Gerstlauer coaster. Yes, please. It was just a fun trip. It was just good to get back out of the UK again. You know, after basically 12 months of being stuck in the country, so it's been all good.
I'm gonna do Ronaldo here. Drink water.
Right, I'm going to put this next one to Mike.
There you go.
Are you excited about Valhalla opening next year?
Don't say no.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with it, and it probably means the return of the final day of the season tradition.
Which
is, for those who don't know, it started in about, 14 was it?
Oh, years ago.
Whatever year it was, it absolutely binned it down on our event last day of the season.
2015.
15.
Yeah.
It was that wet that we went on Lost River last day of the season in November. It was freezing.
And this year you'll be doing it in December.
It'll be December this year.
Even colder.
It'll be even colder. Yeah, and we were sort of like, well, I'm that wet that I might as well just go on Valhalla. And I did. And then for some reason, Stuz thought I'd be bothered by him chucking a bottle of water over me when I've just been on Valhalla in November. So yeah, it'll be good to have it back, see what they've done with it. I've not got much information on, or any information hardly at all, other than what you can see visually in the park of what's been done with it. So who knows?
The only thing that I hope they thought about is e-tickets on your phone. That is the only thing that I've...
Oh, I had not thought about that.
Because obviously you need your phone to scan to get over the turnstiles, and if there's nothing to put your phone in, it's going to get awfully wet on your phone. So that's the only thing. I hope there's some pouch or something.
Agreed. I do wonder, how many people have thought about that. I'm sure Pleasure Beach have, but I hadn't.
No.
So
That's literally what I hope.
it's a fair point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have one of those sort of lanyards with a phone holder in,
Yeah.
sort of thing, and hope that it scans through the plastic. But
Because usually I'm stood at the entrance of Valhalla with about 80 phones on
yeah,
events when people do it. Try to hand out phones at the end. Try to get the right ones.
you've got a lot of questions to get through, Becca.
That's
Yeah, there's
fine.
loads.
I'm just trying. Yeah, I'm not being rude. Funnily enough, I couldn't find my own live stream on my own phone. I was like, I'm gonna have to go to socials to find it. Go on, Becca.
Where do you think Pleasure Beach's next coaster will go, and do you think they'll remove something to do it?
Yes, I think they'll remove the Bowlerdrome. Or am I being optimistic for them not removing another coaster?
I think it's just optimistic because that'll go, because it's not the most pleasant part of the park at the minute. I think it's too bland for the Pleasure Beach.
What's that, the Bowlerdrome?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see no rides removed for a new coaster, but I think putting it into perspective, we've had the COVID problem for every park everywhere in the world, which is of course going to delay new coasters being built. And of course with Pleasure Beach as well, it's not like Pleasure Beach build a coaster every 2 or 3 years, because that just doesn't happen. They're not funded by Merlin or SeaWorld or something like that where they can do that. So I'd love to see them get a new coaster in the next couple of years. I don't think they will, but I hope it'll be where the Bowlerdrome is. But my honest opinion is that I think one of the coasters that's there will go, and unfortunately I think it'll be one of the Arrows that goes. I'm just not sure which one, but it won't be red and blue.
No.
It definitely won't be that one. Go on, Matt. Do you want to talk about new coasters at Pleasure Beach?
We've covered it to death
Covered it.
almost, haven't we?
Yeah, to be fair, we have covered
And
it a
it's
lot.
one of them where you don't know whether it's going to happen, whether we talked before about slots of doing things and what can go, and there's any number of combinations in there about where things could possibly go.
Yeah, it's a never-ending chat, really.
To be honest, it's been going on as long as we've had forums, hasn't it? This
Exactly.
discussion.
There's a couple of things I'm going to pick up on very quickly. I'm just going to power through these. Any more info on December event? It's coming. Honestly, we've been chatting with Pleasure Beach about it today. It is going to be dropping very, very soon on socials. So keep an eye out for that one. And something worth knowing: if you don't currently receive emails off Pleasure Beach Experience, jump onto pleasurebeachexperience.com, sign up to the mailing list, use the contact form, ask to be put on the mailing list. We'll add you to the mailing list, and when it goes on sale, you will receive an email. The spaces will go very quickly, so it really is going to be fingers on buzzers, I think, but we are looking to accommodate a lot more places than we had for the September event. Any plans on us becoming a roller coaster club like Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain? They are in the works. There's a lot to organise with that. We are speaking to Pleasure Beach about ideas in terms of what we can offer as a club, as Club Pleasure Beach, going back to the roots of Club Pleasure Beach. We've also been speaking to hotels in Blackpool who will offer discounts to Club Pleasure Beach members. To join Club Pleasure Beach Experience as a member, it is not going to cost you a fortune. It will be no more than a tenner. That is an absolute guarantee, and that will be for at least 12 months membership. We don't want it to become something where it's really expensive and puts people off. That is not the plan for Pleasure Beach Experience membership. It is just something that all of the parks that I have spoken to in the last 12 months, when I've approached them about events, they've gone, have you got a membership list? What's your club's code of conduct? Are you actually a club? It's something that all the parks on our America event have said, we have to see you as a coaster club to accommodate your trip. So it's just something we have to do. Pleasure Beach are supporting the idea. I've spoken to people at Merlin about it, they support it. So it's just something we have to do to sort of come in line with Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain, the European Coaster Club, who have been paid up clubs for a long time. But it is not a profit thing, absolutely not. It is just something that we have got to get in line with because it is what we do. We are a coaster club. We are a coaster club all but in being a club, basically. Moving on, don't talk to me about phones. Sorry, Dan. Zip your pocket up next time. Can you say mildly moist?
There you go.
Beautifully moist. I have been watching Bake Off, and I will be watching it later on Catch Up. What's the best flume that made you mildly moist? That's one for you. I have just killed the dinosaur.
The dinosaur.
So sorry. What a disaster. Right, carry on, Mike.
Right, log flumes. Well, there was the September event. I got that was more than mildly moist. That was drowned. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the picture of me and the boat submerged.
Yes.
It was like a submarine.
Yeah. There was Six Flags Great Adventure, submerged.
Disappeared, you?
Yeah, pretty much. And I had an orange shirt on as well, so. Port Ventura's, of course, that's probably the original PBE log flume, isn't it?
That needs a repeat. It really does. It needs a repeat. And the thing is, with all due respect, me and Mike are heavier than when we filmed that.
Oh, yeah.
So that wave will
We're
be
probably
worse.
heavier than the rest of the boat, aren't we?
More than likely, because we did have Jimmy and Stuz with us.
Yeah.
So I'd say there's a high chance that it'll make a bigger wave than last time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Becca, I'll leave the questions to you.
Thoughts on infusion?
Spoiler alert, we talk about that in the Pleasure Beach vlog on Thursday, so over to you.
Well, I like it, but I've not been on it for ages because of the old restraints, so.
I'd say that was a favourable response for infusion, that was.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I'm going to go all Jose Mourinho, I prefer not to speak.
In that case then, Red Force or Stealth?
Stealth.
Stealth. Stealth's got a better launch. Red Force has got better restraints and better airtime. So I'd say they're quite a draw. Probably just Stealth edges it because it hasn't got a rattle at the end of the launch. So I'd say Stealth definitely. But if Stealth had lap bars, I'd actually say it's probably my favourite Intamin anyway. Just because of that. Yeah.
behind, in front of top frill.
Yeah. It accelerates faster.
In the bin.
You can get in the bin.
Red
Dragster
Horse.
ain't going to reopen, is it? Let's face it. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Right, do you want the next question?
Yeah.
Would you want a log flume to come back to towers?
Only if I can work on it. Yes, definitely. Mac water coaster, please.
Yeah, I was going to say a log flume or a Mac water coaster.
Mac water coaster.
Mac water
Yeah,
coaster.
that's what I'd say.
New cred.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, what is your most anticipated coaster on the America event?
Oh,
The Voyage.
yeah. Probably.
The Voyage, or steel-wise, probably
Batman.
Goliath. Or the original Batman. Yeah.
The original Batman definitely is a consideration, but I'd probably say the Voyage is up there at Holiday World. 100%.
Dryer looping at Indiana Beach. The Schwarzkopf that's being built at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Voyage probably, and yeah, I'm going to go with that because it just looks insane. And I go back to what me and Mark said when we were in Germany. The bigger wooden coasters or the longer ones don't always seem as good as the traditional ones, but everybody loves the Voyage.
Yeah.
So I've got hope for that. I really have. My only concern is it's got Grand National style restraint system, so I'm a little bit like, oh no. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Sure it does.
Definitely.
So, the next one. How busy are November weekends at the Pleasure Beach?
Well, going back to the old days of winter weekends, the Saturday tended to be quite busy in terms of not a really busy Saturday at Pleasure Beach, but a moderately busy one. But the Sundays were ghost town territory. They're a lot like the WoW weekends, going back to how they used to be.
Yeah.
The Saturday was a busy day, Sunday was ghost town territory.
Cool, that answers that. Right, this one's going to be really easy for you. What's your favourite rides at the Pleasure Beach?
Big one.
Big one.
Might be the big one.
Alright, what's your favourite wooden one at the Pleasure Beach?
Dipper.
Big Dipper. Put it there. Get in the bin.
Well, that answers someone else's quick question.
God,
which said-
national. It's got to be Airtime Machine. Airtime Machine, I think.
I think someone's trying to upset me by asking Big Dipper or Nickelodeon Streak.
Big Dipper.
Dipper.
Big Dipper.
Depends. I refuse to answer that one.
Oh dear.
Right. How do you feel about speed no limits at Oakwood?
It's been 2 years.
Well, it was really good when I went on it, but that was about 2015.
There's a politically correct answer. Let's move on.
I
I
didn't mind
refuse
it.
to answer that one.
I didn't mind it in 2019.
I didn't like it when we went in
Early this year.
July.
Yeah.
Whenever we went this year, I didn't enjoy it. I've got to be honest. I really didn't enjoy it. No, I'm not going there.
Do you think the big London theme park will actually happen?
No.
No.
No. I'll believe
Well,
it.
that was easy.
We're good at this.
I'll believe it when it opens.
I'll say this. I want it to happen
Yeah,
because I think it would be absolutely incredible for this country. It would totally change the landscape. It really would, and I think this is not having a dig at anyone, but I think that it would force the hand of the other parks in this country to go, right, well, if we don't keep on top of things,
We'll get
they're
back
going
going.
to take all our custom because they've got new rides, new technology, new everything that the current parks wouldn't have when they open. So straight away, I can imagine the current parks would be going, right, they're going to open in, right, I'm not saying they're going to open in this year, but let's say they open in 2026. You'd be looking at Thorpe and Towers especially going, we need a coaster in 2027. We need to be competing with this park in their second year. Basically, in football terms, they'd be going, let's give this new park second year syndrome. Let's basically make them suffer in their second year. Everyone's been, now let's give everyone a reason not to go a second time. So that's why the way I see it will go, but I don't think it'll happen currently. I want it to. I really do. I'm sure you do as well.
I think we've seen, again, we'll sort of go back to what we were saying about coasters at Pleasure Beach. This has been going ever since forums were a thing a long time ago. This rumour's been going round. So when it happens, it happens. If it happens, but would I like to see it? Yes. Do I think? Not sure. Don't think so, really.
I was looking for Concorde. It's there, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Someone said in the comments, I spy a British icon, Concorde, and that's why I pulled a funny face, because I was like, there's no Concordes in here, and then I'm going, oh, actually, yes, there is.
I think there's something Concorde in every room in this house.
Definitely. For anybody that doesn't know, me and Becca got married on Concorde in East Fortune, so we liked Concorde anyway, but even more so now, has an extra special meaning to it. How do you feel about high-tech coasters like Hagrid's? None of us have done it, that's the issue. I think it's one of those where hopefully we'll get to Florida next year. It's a sore subject for Mark, very sore subject currently. And, well, it's getting to sore subject territory for me and Becca as well, because we were due to be going fairly soon, but that's not going to be happening, unfortunately. But we all got vouchers, didn't we? So
We all got vouchers.
So we'll be going next year.
I've got shares in BAF. Vouchers that I've got.
I know, yeah. That's the thing, because Becca was supposed to go to Cali. We were supposed to do the PBE event.
Yeah.
And you were going to go to Orlando. We were going to go to Orlando, so it's just like, yeah, British Airways are going to be seeing us a lot next year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right, I've got three questions that I've chosen out of the list at the minute.
Okay.
So number one is, which Halloween event will be the best overall? Which one do you think's the best overall?
I don't know, because they're all good in a different way.
Agreed.
To say that one's the best. I mean, Tully's is a behemoth. It's massive.
It is.
But there are other things good at all the other attractions as well. So it's hard to say which one is the best, because they're all good in an individual way.
Yeah, to break it down then, which is the best for mazes and which is the best for atmosphere? Well, don't answer the atmosphere one, because I know what you're going to say. Which is the best for the mazes?
I enjoy mazes. I enjoy York. I've got to be honest with you, because all the mazes are very, very different. Because obviously you've got the flesh pot, which was downright terrifying. You've got Singularity, which you disappear into the fog.
Yes.
You've got the the steampunk type one that you led in as well, which was good. You've got the clown one as well, which I hate the decking, I'll be honest. Like, you know what I mean? So they're all very, very different.
Is there a clown maze you haven't hit the decking?
No.
No.
I'll quickly say that atmosphere, we were going to say Tully's.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have said that.
Yeah.
Have you got any?
I've not really, because I've not looked into them particularly, so.
I know Becca wanted to move us on, that's why I sort of jumped on the atmosphere thing quite quickly.
That's fine. Your next question is, which is more fun, a quiet day at Pleasure Beach or a busy day at Pleasure Beach? So you've got the quiet day where you'll get lots of rides, or you've got a busy day where you've got the atmosphere and it's just generally more fun. Or I think the busier days are more fun.
Yeah,
I think more and more I'm going towards the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Of just sitting in, I mean, how often do we sit at the bar for 3 hours when it's busy? But it's great to just, on a nice hot day, sit and watch people go past and whatnot.
Yeah,
and the
agreed.
fountains on and...
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it busy. I like the atmosphere. It takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the exact same thing for me. For me, when it's busy, Pleasure Beach has got like a special atmosphere and I'm not saying it's the best park in the world, but it has a special atmosphere where I don't think any other park in the world can replicate. And I think when the lights are on and there's the music's on and you can hear the ride, you hear the clickety-clack of the woodies, you hear the big one going up, and now you hear Icon and stuff like that. It's just magic for me. I think it's something that's never been replicated when I've been to anywhere else in the world. And I'm not saying it's the best park in the world, but it's the one that gives me like a, yes, I love this park when it's busy. I do like going when it's quiet, don't get me wrong, because if it means I can just keep going on the big one over and over. But give me one night ride on the big one over 25 daytime rides on the big one on a dead day. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
The next question's from Mike. What exactly was going through your head when you got tipped off that conveyor at Siam Park?
I don't know, because it happened so quickly. Other than, when we hit at the bottom of the pool. Ow.
Right,
Oh,
the
dear.
next one is who's your favourite member of Top Thrill Tourist?
Well, it's not Carl, is it?
Well, it came from Carl, so we've got to say Emma, haven't we?
We've got to say Emma, haven't we?
I thought there was only Emma. Carl just is like this person that just hangs around. I don't know what else he does, to be honest.
Just sort of loiters in the background and changes his hair different colours so he gets noticed. I mean, we can't talk about hair, can we? We could get like a hair transplant advertisement thing, couldn't we? Because that's the only way we could talk about hair. But honestly, I think it's certainly not Carl anyway.
No.
I think we're unanimous in that one. Sorry.
It should be his rename, Top Thrill Tourist.
Yeah, exactly. Or Top Thrill Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something like that.
Right, let's get back to Halloween question then. Would you have liked to have seen Big Top back?
Yes.
Yes.
Never did it.
Yeah, of course.
I only did behind the scenes and I say yes.
Yeah.
Big Top
Because it looked good.
Big Top was phenomenal.
I ain't trying to say that word. One funny story about Big Top, and Becca was actually there, is me and Craig Toy, the legend, went in. And it was just me and Craig because it was one of those lucky times at Fort where the mazes were quite quiet. So it was just me and Craig that went in and they separated us out. And I remember not realising until I got halfway through, I was like, I'm on my own in a scare maze, don't like this. And all I could hear was Craig shouting, and he wasn't like your level of terrified, but we were both like edgy, but I could just hear Craig's like really distinctive Birmingham accent in the distance shouting like, oh no, and stuff, when it was great. And so honestly, the Big Top was amazing. I'd have loved to have seen Fort bring that back, but not as much as I would have loved to have seen the Asylum come back.
Yeah, agreed.
That was scary, really scary. You'd have hated it. Well, you wouldn't have hated it, but you'd have been a nervous wreck for hours after. Stuz was. Because we were going through a dark corridor and that, and the actor just went like that to Stuz, put his hand, like, he just put his hand in front of his face, and Stuz just went, and we all just went backwards. It was great. But yeah.
Okay, so another Scarefesty one.
Cool.
Are you excited for Creed Farm at Burton Screamfest?
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Burton, definitely, because Burton in 2018 was excellent. Burton in 2019 was a mixed bag. I think we said that in the vlog at the time. And in fairness, looking back on that vlog, I wish we hadn't uploaded it, because we did speak to people who worked there shortly after that had gone on and had a good chat with them about what we would have, how the night would have been better, let's say, and they actually agreed with a lot of what we said, because there was just a certain few things like that happened on the night that I think the event themselves turned around and went, yeah, we're sorry about it, we hope you come back in the future, and we are doing, because it is a great little event. And even though it's quite a low budget event, it's an excellent event for what it is. And I think that especially two of their mazes, I think it's Love Hurts and Insomnia are both excellent.
Yeah, well done, both of them.
Right, have you ever been Scare Kingdom?
No, it's one we just seem to not go to, and I don't know why. I think it always sort of falls on the same weekend as Tully's, and then after Tully's everything else opens, and we just tend to sort of miss it. But one of the things that I've always, and funnily enough, I've spoken to people at Scare Kingdom about this, is one of the mazes you have to eat weirdy stuff, and I've got some really weird food allergies, so that has always been a little bit for me like, I don't know. But I did speak to the people at Scare Kingdom, and they said if I sort of mentioned that when I got there, I wouldn't have to be eating whatever it is that they make you eat in one of the mazes. So that kind of makes me think, do you know what, I should actually go and give it a go. It's not one we'd film at, because there's like 100% no filming in the mazes, so it'd be tough to make a video and explain the full experience to everybody there without actually filming anything. So I think it's one we'll do probably. What we're looking to do, I think it's something I'm really keen to do, is get the blogs back on Pleasure Beach Experience website. So if we do go to Scare Kingdom, we'll probably do a written review, which I think would probably be as in-depth as a video, to be honest.
So someone's asking for Mark and Mike to do the retreat.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Who's asked? If it's Callum, then please sign him up.
No, it's not.
No.
What was the other bit? Right, I've seen this from a few people now. What football teams do you all support?
He supports whoever's winning. Go
No,
on.
United.
Which one?
There is only one United.
Scunthorpe.
Manchester
Scunthorpe
United.
And Altrincham.
And Altrincham.
And Salford. And Celtic.
Salford aren't a rugby, aren't a football team. They're a rugby team.
Oh, football
Salford
team.
FC. Gary Neville owns them.
And
Football Club of Manchester, what are they
no,
called? Who else is it? Bayern Munich.
I thought it was Hoffenheim.
Hoffenheim. Stuttgart, Dortmund.
FC Basel.
Manchester United.
Mighty Wigan Athletic, mate.
Winners of the FA Cup once, but
Hey.
even I celebrated it.
yeah, we all celebrated that one.
It's got to be done.
Right, someone's asked a dangerous question.
Oh God.
Nemesis or Nemesis Inferno?
Oh
God.
dear.
There's only one answer.
There's only one answer, and that's Inferno.
Agreed.
I said the other day it's whichever one I last went on.
Which
Yeah.
was the last one you went on?
Can't remember. Probably Nemesis.
Nemesis.
It's not been thought for ages.
Jubilee
so
Odyssey
Nemesis.
is.
Nemesis, yeah.
Jubilee Odyssey.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Got to ask, are you okay? Somebody's asked if you're okay.
There is one on here actually that I'll take because it was about a couple of parks I did this year. Pleasurewood Hills and Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach. I did them as part of it. I did actually get that summer trip in that I was talking about for ages. And yeah, I really enjoyed both of them. I also got Joyland in at the same time, which is easily done. The Pleasurewood Hills sort of morning, early afternoon. Went back to Great Yarmouth, checked into my hotel, and then did Joyland and the Pleasure Beach in the evening. And Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach was empty, so I just ended up lapping the roller coaster.
Brilliant. So, excuse me if you just answered this question, but I was just checking the comments. Which was your favourite new cred of that whole trip, would you say?
Cannonball Express,
Cannonball.
which is the Schwarzkopf Jetstar at Pleasurewood Hills.
Really?
Really enjoyed it. It's quite similar to, well, it's if you know Jetstars and Jumbo Jets, they're all quite similar. This is like Black Hole at Towers, Beast at Towers, that sort of coaster, and I used to enjoy them. Great coaster.
Excellent. So what would you say is your favourite ever Schwarzkopf coaster?
Ooh, tricky one.
Sorry.
Probably for nostalgia purposes, going to say Tower of Terror, Camelot.
Cool.
So,
Fair enough. Have I done that?
No,
I did that.
you wouldn't have done it because it was a long time before you ever went there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if I've done it anywhere else, but I doubt
No,
it.
because it was at Loudon Castle for a while.
Ah, right, okay,
and
that's
it's
where I
now in
went.
Croatia.
Yeah, I haven't been there. Definitely haven't been there. They always beat England at football. Who doesn't? Mike's never told us about his trip before. I think you have. I think that's just Carl being a numpty. If you want like a 2-hour video, Carl, of Mike talking all about his trip, then we'll film it and we'll send it to you. Or we'll just get him to
I'll just go and knock on.
So he'll just bring it round and sit you down and you can have like a cinema and stuff. Mike can do like a
Live
show.
action.
Yeah, you can do a Q&A before it and everything for you, Carl.
Fantasy Island in Skegness, do you think they'll get another big coaster?
Doubt it. I doubt they'll get another, not on the scale of the two Vacomas they've got.
No.
No,
It'd be great to see though. I think they've got a load of room, and it'd make a good view on the skyline. Right. I think this is meant to say who gets scared the most.
Yeah, thanks Neil, firstly. Just want to say a big thanks for that. Who gets scared the most? Hi mate, you're right.
Not having me.
But isn't it true that our friend here gets a little bit more nervous and likes to let on like when
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you've ever watched the York Harlow screen, right, where I get terrorised by the old lady, and then she starts running after me with a chainsaw, you'll see someone also start running as well in the background. Apparently he thought I was going to run that way when you can clearly see I was going in the opposite direction and someone else ran away. Didn't they, Mike?
Might have done.
who fell over.
Yeah, you absolutely
if you look at the background, you'll see me slip as well.
Yeah, you absolutely decked it.
You're not the only one to fall in the background, though, are we?
Well, but when do I not fall over in the background, though?
Oh, dear me.
Was that a bottle top this time, or?
Soggy surface.
Wet floors.
Beach
Oh.
station.
The problem is, right,
People setting me up on certain water parks.
that was literally nothing to do with me. Honestly, I really didn't know he was going to fall over that conveyor belt. Honestly, like, I hadn't been on it 2 minutes earlier and nearly fallen off myself. Would you go on it again, though?
Yeah.
Excellent.
You've got.
Oh. Right. Thank you, Jordan. And thank you, Crispy P. Can you ask Pleasure Beach to do a Guinness World Record to ride a roller coaster all day? I'd love to. I'd love the challenge on the big one. 100%. I'd be up for it. Probably wouldn't be able to walk for a week after it, but I'd be up for it because I think you'll remember this. Remember when we did the Blue Peter filming as filming
Yes.
extras on the big one? We turned up thinking that this was going to be like, oh, we'll be on it for about 3 or 4 rides. 5 hours, not allowed to move out of the
About
seat.
18 rides later.
Hottest day of the year, it was like 32 degrees. The big one was absolutely flying before any retracts around that time. And we had to sit in the same seat for the whole 5 hours. We weren't allowed to move because they were training new Blue Peter presenters who had to practice filming on a ride with their GoPros.
Well, it was a competition to see who could do it.
Yeah.
Basically, it was one of the last presenter challenges they did.
Yeah.
When they were picking a new presenter.
So, on the basis of that, I think I'd be up for the challenge. The only thing I would say is since then, my body has taken a battering off cancer, so I'm not sure I could handle it like I used to on it, but I'd certainly give it a go, 100%. After all, Becca will frown at me, but we did go on the big one about 3 weeks after one of my operations, so...
Yes.
It was waving out through the window at the hotel. I was like, do you know what, I'll go and see how the body's holding up. It was all good. We went on Nickelodeon Street shortly after, I think.
Yeah, that was meant to be the first one to test the water, wasn't it?
Well, these things happen.
Anyway, Mark, your thoughts on the retreat, because we mentioned it and someone's keen to know more. What did you think of it?
I didn't do this street. I'd do it though. I would honestly do it.
Would you do it?
Yeah, because after most scare events I sleep with a light on anyway, so I've been doing it all the time anyway. But
That's a good point. I just read the question, but yeah. Yeah, someone asked for your thoughts on the retreat, so there you go. Okay, which coaster from any UK park do you think would suit the Pleasure Beach?
Oh, talk
from where? European Park?
Any UK park.
Talk about put us on the spot. That's a damn good question. Oh, I'm going to be controversial. Wicker Man.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think it
No.
would. I think Wicker Man would fit in really well, just without Big Bob.
I think next to all those other amazing woodies that Wickerman would not hold up.
Do better than Roller.
Don't! Absolutely.
Jeez.
No.
Sleeping on the couch.
Put the fishing net away in a minute.
No.
No. Go on then.
For something different, I'd quite like to see Velocity.
What, Flamingo Land?
Yeah.
Really?
Something different, yeah.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Well, let's be honest, everything else in Pleasure Beach is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it
All
doesn't
the
take
other
up
coasters.
too much room.
No. Sure, you could thread it around somewhere.
Yeah.
Stealth.
I knew you were going to say that.
What, so you can ride it one day a year when the wind drops?
Yeah, but if it's not facing the sea, it'll go over fine.
Yeah.
The westerly wind will help it.
Did have a rollback today though.
It did. That's the thing, if Big One's shot due to high winds but stealth goes around the other way, you're all good.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Catch up with the comments. so
Advice
carry
for someone going to the Pleasure Beach for the first time.
on. Oof.
Hit the low capacity rides early.
Yeah,
Ice
definitely.
Blast,
Avalanche.
Roller. And then
Make sure you get Blue
steep
Flyer
up.
in.
And just to add in, this is someone going on their own as well.
Definitely get them in.
Hit the low capacity rides
Yeah.
early, like I said with that. Then work your way around
And
to like
Skyforce as well.
Rev,
Make sure you get Skyforce in.
Steeple, and then with the others you can play it by ear, like Big One, Icon. Oh, you hit Infusion as well early, if you can.
What I would say is don't go to Big One and Icon first, because the thing with big one is if it's on 2 trains, it will test with its sandbags in the trains. Once it opens, the sandbags have to come out, so that can sometimes delay the opening a little bit. But if it's on 2 trains, one train will be fully like de-sandbagged, let's say, all the sandbags will come out. But in order to keep the trains moving, when the second train comes in, only the first carriage and the second carriage will be done, and then the third, fourth and fifth. So it can take a while to do big one first. But the problem with that is, whilst you're waiting for that to all be done, things like Nickelodeon Streak, Avalanche, Revolution, Steeplechase, Skyforce are all walk-on. So in that time that you could get, say, 5 or 6 rides done in the first hour, you may end up standing waiting for the big one or Icon in the first hour. And that's not because of anything to do with the staff being slow, it's just the way those rides are. And sometimes it is better to just hit those other rides first, because Nickelodeon Streak, as soon as every family's in the park, that will have an hour's queue on a busy day. Revolution, it is a quick queue from the bottom if Speedy Pass hasn't been battered. Steeplechase can just take a while in general. Skyforce could just take a while in general because it's quite a long ride cycle. So I think always hit those first and leave things like Big One and Icon, which are probably Pleasure Beach's 2 best capacity rides, until the end. Obviously, if it's a really windy day and you get there for opening time and Big One's on one train, but it's really windy, then that's the only time I'd say is an exception, do the big one first, because then you've got on it and it might not shut, because it might shut, or it will just, if it's on one train on a windy day that's a busy day, it will be busy, like really busy. So, but otherwise, don't touch the big one and Icon until probably the 2nd or 3rd hour at least.
Okay, someone's asked, when is the next PBE F1?
Oh, soon. We can do it soon. Mark will have to install it again. Who's asked?
Gareth.
Gareth.
Yeah,
And Carl's asked who's got the racing line.
that's always
It's always Mike.
I've
isn't
got
it?
the racing line.
always Mike. He also knows the rules of F1 as well.
I was actually watching an old Top Gear before and they mentioned the racing line and I immediately thought of you. But yeah, if anyone's interested in playing F1 with us on the PS4, just let us know in the comments, either on the live chat or just in the comments, because every so often we'll just be like Friday night F1 on the PlayStation. But what I will say is, if you are an F1 purist, it's probably not for you, because it's more like Destruction Derby F1, especially with these guys. So
Blame Carl. Carl's the worst.
yeah, Carl's terrible at it, and Jimmy. So yeah,
Think for the fans, think Hungary this year, start, first corner.
Yeah. So someone's asked what the best time to arrive at the Pleasure Beach is.
right. So on a 10-10 day, on a late night riding, I would genuinely be thinking about being there at 9 o'clock, because you get in the park straight away, and even if, say, they open the doors half an hour before the ride's open, you've got the pick of the park where to go to. On a day like, say, for example, tomorrow, if you were going to go, just turn on, bang on opening time and you'll be fine. It varies on how busy it's expected to be. On a Saturday, I'd always aim to be there for at least half an hour before they open, just so. Sometimes they do open the park early. They always have one of Team Nick's excellent shows outside of Noah's Ark, so get there early if you can and you'll be straight in. One thing I would say is don't do Pleasure Beach Express in the first hour, because it does take a while, like 20-minute ride.
Yeah.
And us lot will probably have it full as well.
Well, not if we're not there, just in general, so it's one of those things. Carl says we're rude.
Yeah, that's come up a few times.
Maybe that's the only word he can write.
It seems to be. You need a dictionary, Carl. We might get him one and brand it for him. Any advice for getting over fear of the big one?
Yes. The way I did it, and this is going to sound really like basic, I just got in the queue and just got in the queue and went, do you know what? I'm gonna keep me. Back in the day when I did it, mobile phones weren't really like, you could stand in the queue with an iPhone because they weren't a thing. So I just had to kind of stand there and try to avoid looking at it the whole time. But if you've, well, you probably have got a phone, just stand in the queue, read Facebook, read Twitter, watch videos on YouTube, which isn't the big one unless it's our track level POV. That's always worth watching. Yeah, just, I think if once you're on the ride, sit on the left side. So when you're in the air gates, you go first, and then sit on the far side of the train, because when you're going up, next to you is the steps, which obscures the view. Of course, if you look to your right, you will see Blackpool and everything else that you can see off the big one. But if you either just face, we actually gave this advice to somebody in the queue the other day, if you just sit and face forwards on the lift hill, or even just sort of put your head to the side like that, you won't notice the view. But what I will say is, if you're only going to do it once, take in the view, because it is magnificent. But honestly, anyone that's nervous about the big one, I was a chicken, I wouldn't do it for years. My dad was desperate for me to do it for years through the 90s. I just wouldn't do it. I wish I had done it when I was younger, but I'm still glad when I did it as well. So I'd just say, sit on the left side, look at the steps, look at your feet, just look straight forward, and honestly you don't notice the height as much as you probably think you might. Once you're on that lift hill, if you just face forward, it's no different than being on Big Dipper. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say if you when you're in the queue or when you're approaching it, do not look up at the size of it, because it's yeah. Do not get drawn to it, because it does look tall and it does look intimidating.
Well, it is tall.
Okay then, thoughts on Poulton's Park?
Lovely little park.
Agreed.
Enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it. It's a good park. Very good.
I think that they may surprise people going forward as well. I think they may dip their toes a bit more into the frill side of things as well. I just, maybe not to sort of, you know, big RMC levels, but I think they'll maybe just go a little bit further on from Storm Chaser again and just push the boat out a little bit more with something on a frill level that they've maybe never done before, because I think that it keeps the age group that the park's appropriate for that little bit wider.
Yeah, I think Tornado Springs looks fantastic.
Oh yeah,
It's a great area.
Storm Chaser is a really, really good coaster.
definitely.
Great little coaster.
It's surprising how intense it is going around that helix.
It is.
I just think I can't praise Poulton's Park enough. I've only ever been once, and it was such an excellent little park. I totally recommend it to anybody, especially families. It's such a good park.
So we've been asked for the top 5 coasters each. I think that might take us a little bit.
No, it's fine. We'll go for it.
Go for it then. Top 5 coasters.
I'll have a run at it.
I can go with mine.
Do we have to do an order?
I can go with top
Or
5.
can we just name the 5?
I think just name the 5.
Magnum, XL200, Helix. If we're going favourite, big one's in there, because it is one of my favourite coasters in the world. And that's when it becomes quite tricky. So I will move it on to you.
Maverick,
Cedar Point.
Cedar Point. Raptor, Cedar Point. Batman Arkham Asylum, Madrid. Dragon Khan, and probably Magnum XL200, Cedar Point.
Excellent.
Mine's going to be a running theme here. Steel Vengeance,
Bin.
RMC, Cedar Point, Helix, Leesburg, Zadra, RMC, Energylandia,
You've forgotten it.
Wildfire,
Wildfire, I knew that was good.
RMC.
Let me guess. Untamed.
Go on.
Wallaby Holland. RMC.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. Top 5.
Zadra is in mine as well, because it is absolutely epic. And I'm going to let Becca come in and do hers.
Right, I'll actually come into shot so it's not just a random voice. Mine has changed a bit recently. It's definitely not number 1, but Zadra is in there. There is the Hulk in Florida, Islands of Adventure. There is Kumba, which is probably number 1 still. I don't think anything will manage to knock Kumba off the top spot. So that's 3. Kumba, Hulk, Zadra.
Furious Bacco.
Absolutely not. No chance in
Furious
that.
Bacco.
I think Balder probably makes it into that top 5.
Yeah.
Just because it is such a surprising coaster. I think that's the only way to put it. And then the next one I could think of is Superman at Park Warner.
Excellent.
And I'll go back to my corner.
Do you want to sit here for a little bit?
No, it's all right. I'm good to hide in the corner.
Fair enough. I'm sure the viewers will prefer you being in shot than us.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. Okay, right. So thanks for that question, Gareth. Right, here's an interesting one. Which coaster will go first at Alton Towers?
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
We're all pretty.
We're going to be so wrong on this. I don't know. Do you know what? I honestly think that I'm not saying this to troll. I genuinely don't think Nemesis will last to, say, 2030. And I think you have to look at its structure. It was a masterpiece how they've built it, where they've built it, how they did it. Everything about it, the way they've done it is an absolute masterpiece. But it comes at a price. And that price is eventually it will need completely rebuilding, in my opinion. I am no engineer. I know nothing about engineering. But that is in my opinion. At some point, they will have to rebuild it. They'll have to do the footers again. They'll have to put the new supports in, which probably means they'll have to put new track in. That is just my opinion. I worked at Alton Towers now nearly 13 years ago. It might well be 13 years ago. And even when I worked there, people were like, Nemesis won't last beyond a certain time. It has lasted beyond that time, but there's always rumours that it's not going to last much longer. We could be so wrong on this, and it could outlive lots of coasters that we think it won't outlive, but that's just my opinion. I don't know why you guys think that it won't last, but that's just my opinion.
I'll go with, I think Alton Towers' life cycle of rides.
Yeah.
It's starting to push their boundary. I mean, what was Corkscrew was 28 years.
Yeah.
Nemesis is now on, what, 27 years?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's getting close to being the longest coaster they've ever had.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing, and I think isn't Runaway Mine Train just?
Oh, it's just a year or two,
but
yeah.
I think
it's a different thing with it being a power coaster compared to a
agreed.
standard.
Yeah.
I think Mine Train's already been watered down massively. I think the speed on it is nothing compared to how it used to be. Obviously, when we were younger, it will have felt really fast, but I think even when I worked on it, that it was a lower speed than it had been when I was a child. But I just think Nemesis life cycle definitely. But I think Alton Towers, the Alton Towers fan base, not necessarily enthusiasts, just Alton Towers fan base, they kind of demand new things all the time. And when you go to Alton Towers, I know everybody will say to me it's all because of the capacity. Nemesis is always walk on. And as an example, the other week when we were there, it had a breakdown for nearly half an hour and they didn't empty the queue and they didn't shut the queue. It was still walk on at the end of the breakdown. If you did that on any of the other coasters at Towers, the queue would be back to Towers Street. If Wickerman broke down and they kept the queue open for half an hour, the queue would be back to Utoxeter to Mackey's. There's no doubt about it. It'd be the same for 13, it'd be the same for Rita. But Nemesis, it just does, I don't know if it's because of where it is in the park or because people are just bored of it. I don't know. I still think it's the best ride at Towers on a par with Wicker. Becca's going to look at me all funny again. But in my opinion, I think its day's coming to an end. I really do. And I think Alton Towers will have to make the hardest decision of their theme park time and era, where they go, this iconic coaster has had its day. But that park doesn't do sentiment in terms of that. And I think that, yeah, they might put the corkscrew or the loop somewhere in the park like they did with the corkscrew. But I think they'll look at it and go, right, it's going to be this amount of money to get Nemesis retracked and rebuilt and rebranded for 20 whatever, or we can get a shiny new SW9 roller coaster which the whole country will come and ride. Which one's it going to be?
Well, this is effectively what happened with Blackpool and Corkscrew.
Yeah.
Was it's like there's not that many people ride them. They're going to cost an absolute mint to have them reworked, redone, whatever upgrades they're doing on them. Nobody rides them hardly, so we might as well get rid and put something else in. And like you said again, that's where the life cycle comes in, is that they don't hold on to rides over a period of time because they have that constant refreshing, building something new, something better, something, well, be bigger, but there's usually something there that they go for.
Got to think cost effective as well.
Yeah.
How much is it going to cost, and then how much is that new ride?
Yeah.
It will be a terrible day when it goes, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
And I'm sorry, it's going to go before Big One. And it just makes me laugh because for all the years I've heard how terribly the big one has aged. I think big one will probably outlive us. I've got to be honest. I think it will. With it being in Blackpool, I just don't see it ever going. I think they'll just retrack it until the cows come home.
Can't imagine that skyline without big one.
No, that's...
Agreed. I really do agree. I think it'll just be there forever. I think it'll be like Blackpool Tower. It'll just be one of those things where they go, right, we need 10 million to redo it. Here's 10 million, we're redoing it. And I think it'll always look the same. It'll always be red. It'll always have the same track profiling to an extent. Obviously Tazica have done some cracking jobs with it, but it'll always be that style. I don't ever think it'll be RMC'd. I don't think it'll ever be heightened. I don't think it'll ever change dramatically. I just don't think it'll happen. Whereas I think Nemesis will go. I just do.
Yeah.
I'll be bloody sad when it does go, don't get me wrong, but it's going to happen. And honestly, when SW9 is announced to replace it, if that goes on to happen, well, everyone will forget about Nemesis, I'm sorry. They just will.
Yeah.
General public will be like, yeah, Nemesis was good, but shiny new thing. That's just
So
how
like
it goes.
magpies to just go for...
Let's face it, 13 is not a patch on Corkscrew, but nobody remembers Corkscrew when they're queuing for 13. That's the thing, except for Mike. And nobody went on Corkscrew until its last day.
Pretty much.
It was walk-on for years, like Nemesis. Anyway, moving on.
Just to clear something up, no, you cannot just take a GoPro to the Pleasure Beach to take it on the rides. You do need proper permission and all sorts of things.
You have no idea how much work we go to get them out.
Method statements, insurance, which costs a lot of money, proper mounting gear, more insurance, park approval, the right day, the right time, the right weather. It's filming on rides is not an easy thing to do, and honestly, don't just take your GoPro to Pleasure Beach and film on the rides, please. That's all I would say, because eventually, the day that stops happening and people do not do that and just go, alright, I can't do it, Pleasure Beach may one day go, actually, if you want to do it, let us know and we can sort it out. Efteling did that. At one point Efteling was like, no one could do it. So everybody respected that, and then all of a sudden they went, actually everyone can do it now. You just got to get it signed off. Europa Park's another one. They let people do it, but they do check it beforehand. I think it's one of those things where if everybody stopped just trying to take... I tell you what, the other day when we were at Pleasure Beach, people with their phones out was shocking. Like, not enthusiasts, just people. There was a guy on the big one who was sat in front of us and he was wafting his phone like this on the big one's first drop, and I was thinking, if that hits me in the face, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think we can move on because the guy who asked us said thank you, so...
Yes.
Did ask at Gulliver's. Yeah, it's just different at Pleasure Beach. Pleasure Beach has got bigger rides than Gulliver's, but I always think it's best to ask for permission anyway.
Yeah,
definitely.
Always. Right, there's a question I think was aimed at you, Mark. Which is the best wacky worm?
Definitely a question for you, that one.
I don't know what you mean. Very rarely go on wacky worms, me. There are some good ones though. Not much of a muchness, but they all count as a +1 at the end of the day.
Shameless.
Yes. My coaster count is better than yours. You might have more, but mine's better because I haven't got loads of wacky worms. And the Grand National is 1 credit.
2.
1.
2.
1.
Steeplechase is 3, Grand National is 1.
Grand National's 2. You can't get half a credit.
It's 1. Oh, it's 1.
It's 1.
Therefore, half plus half is 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can't get half a credit.
Yeah, so it's only 1 credit.
2 credits.
1.
2.
How are you going from half to 2 now?
You can't get a half credit.
Mathematics in Wigan are not the strong point, are they?
Right, anyway.
How much longer do we think Vampire has since we're talking about ride removals?
Oh, not sure on
Oh,
that
no,
one.
no.
Haven't they recently refurbed it?
Yeah, there was something.
I think that's probably got a long time to go. I think it fits into Chessington too well, and I think when it's not like Nemesis with its structure, I think it would be easier to do.
They just might retheme it like they did with Bubbleworks and Gruffalo.
Again, I think they could well change the trains again to the new type ones.
Potentially.
Yeah,
that's what
the newer suspended train.
I think as well, when you compare like Chessington, they're not like towers where they thrive on desperately needing a new coaster all the time. Because I always find Towers has such a good buzz about it the first 2 years when it's had a new coaster, but then it just kind of fades away and it just lacks in the same atmosphere. It's like this year compared to 2018 at Towers is so different because there was such a buzz when Wicker Man opened. Whereas I think like even with Pleasure Beach, it's just like a gradual buzz. Like Icon's first year was quite quiet. 2019 was fairly quiet. Obviously last year, because of COVID, Pleasure Beach got extremely busy, and I think it's been incredibly busy this year as well.
Yeah.
It's been great. So, yeah.
So, what is your most embarrassing cred?
Oh,
Mark's got no shame.
I know. Yours is that one on the beach. That little one.
Oh, Cleethorpes.
Cleethorpes, yeah.
Go Gator.
Yeah, that's it. The Go Gator.
That was a good one.
So the good excuse I've got really is that I've got a toddler son, so I can get away with going on these wacky worms. But
wacky worms.
Yeah,
They're
it is.
just embarrassing.
No, but I tell you what yours was. That circus clown thing at Camel Creek.
Oh God, yeah.
And it was even worse for me when I realised I'd
You've
already got
been on
it. I was
yeah,
like,
that was an embarrassing one. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, I've got some really tiny coasters in. Like, I've got the Junior Dragon at Camelot, but I was a kid when I went on it, so I don't really count that because I was target
it was
age.
age appropriate
Yeah.
at that point.
So you all didn't go to like a safari in Germany just to get a butterfly coaster then?
Oh, for goodness sake, Mark.
Did you?
Yeah. There's a safari, like when you land at Hamburg, it's about 20 minutes away, and because I had a day to spare, I was like, what can I do? So I went this safari it cost me €10 to get in, and then I had to pay like, I think it was €1.
You are joking me. You paid €11 for a
You
butterfly
kept that one quiet
coaster.
the other week.
I thought
You kept that one quiet. I'd have had that one.
You paid more for a butterfly coaster than the Coney Island Cyclone.
yes.
Well, I've got to mention it, now you've mentioned it, I will never forget that guy paying $10 a time, shouting, yeah, every time he came on it with us, because he spent nearly like...
He must have spent like nearly $80.
at least, and that was just lapping it. That was ridiculous, honestly. So, can you film at the Pleasure Beach, just not on the rides? Have a look at our channel.
And everyone else's as well.
So, an interesting question I thought there was, why do we think the Nash is so much better this year?
They've done some work on it, haven't they?
Spoiler alert for our vlog on Thursday, this is.
Yeah.
But I will go there with this. Actually, I'll let you go there with it. You started.
It's had some work done on it, and what we've tended to find this year, you ride on your own as well. It massively improves the ride experience.
Yeah, it does. We're just not advocating everybody going on single rows.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like the next PBE trip.
On Saturday, we went as a 2, didn't we?
Yes, that's true.
And it was still just as good. But they have done a lot of work on it, and I hope they continue doing work on it like they've done with Dipper and that.
Is it the canal turn that they've done the retrack on?
Yeah.
And I was initially asked for my thoughts on it in April, and the person that asked me, I got back to them and said, nah, I still don't like it. But, like we've kind of covered in the vlog that's coming up on Thursday, we think the full trains has made a big difference.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time for the last, what has it been now, like a month and a half since it's had full trains again.
Yeah.
You go back to any time before that and all of last year, barring the WoW weekends, it was on half trains and none of us enjoyed it. Whereas now...
It's the same with Dipper though as well,
Yeah.
and Wickerman when they was on half trains, they weren't as enjoyable as having a full train on it. For some reason it just doesn't seem to work on a woody with half trains.
Megaphobia especially. All I've seen on like Megaphobia comments since the start of last year is how violent and how horrible and how rubbish it is. And then we went in July and we were like, oh, what's everyone going on about? It's a great coaster. We went on it the first time, we're like, alright, we're not going on that again. We give it a second go at the front, but it was still not great. Whereas, I'd love to sit here and say, well, we'll give it a go next year when it's full trains, but I'm not sure the 5-hour journey's worth it, just in case it's not as good. So, one thing I will say is it has had some retrack work done on it, Megaphobia, and it was noticeably better through those sections compared to the rest of it. But again, it's the same with the Grand National. When it was half trains, you noticed the bits that had been done against the bits that hadn't. I think at the minute Grand National's like a whole new coaster to me. I quite happily lap it at the minute, and it's weird.
Well, we did the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did literally 3 laps. It was walk on. We did 3 laps back to back to
For
back.
4 hours in Pleasure Beach, I was saying to Mark, "Come on, let's go on the National. Let's walk on." He was like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." We did it, and we ended up doing it 4 times or something in the bounce.
Yeah.
Very good. Right, Mark, a question for you. Knowing how much you hate any sort of drop tower ride, which is your favourite and which is the worst?
Favourite drop tower?
It can't be Krusty
I was going to
Krab.
say a frog hopper.
Favourite? I've got to be honest with you. I really enjoyed Highlander at Hansa Park.
I wouldn't say you enjoyed it. Get the fire brigade! I won't repeat everything he said.
Yeah, that's that. Or Zoom and Gyro, but that is very, very nervous and high.
Even I think that one's edgy.
Never again.
Oh, do it again.
Least favourite, because it absolutely scares the life out of me, and Johnny the Ride Up knows that I don't like it. So Johnny the Ride Up just leaves me at the top of hangover for a good 5 or 6 minutes every single time, and it's like, great.
You've never
Thanks.
heard anything as funny as him, Mullet and Carwell on that at the same time.
Oh, I could imagine.
Half of London can hear him.
It's just like, there's just anticipation there, it's just like, it's just not dropping, is it?
No.
I can't wait for him to go on the one at Busch Gardens, Falcon's Fury. I vowed to never go on that again, but if I can go on that with you, because you're allowed to take the GoPro on there, I am going on it, and it means I can't hold on. But I will be giving it the whole Superman with it on my wrist, but that will be getting filmed.
Okay.
Here's an interesting one. Are you theme park enthusiasts or roller coaster enthusiasts?
Roller coaster.
Coasters.
Coaster, give me a good coaster, even on a car park, and I'll take that all day.
Yeah. Same.
There we go.
Or on top
That
of a
clears
water
that one
park
up.
in the case of Magnum.
Yeah.
Magnum was there first.
Oh, crikey, hold on. It just...
Becca's broke it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just people comment when I'm reading it moves and I can't keep up. Are you planning on going to Winter Wonderland this year?
Booked.
Booked it.
Booked it.
Booked it. Not quite. Packed it and effed off. But it's booked and it's happening for the first Saturday. Have you booked it?
No,
Are you going to book it?
I may well do.
I think you should.
I think you should.
I think you should.
First Saturday.
We're going on a little mission on that one, aren't we? We're going to try and, for the purpose of the vlog, we're going to try and go on every roller coaster. We have applied for a mortgage to do it, but yeah, we're going to try and do every coaster between us. So get it booked. Get it booked. I'll remind you when we're finished to get it booked, because I know that you always like to go.
Yeah.
But this time, lads, when we go, I'm not booking a flight on the train.
No,
I'm not doing that this time.
You said book half flight. I ended up booking 2 because of the dodgy internet signal.
Oh
I
yeah.
had to phone them up and cancel it at the same time.
Oh, that was bad, Becca. That was like, right, let's go to Winter Wonderland. We got on the train and went, oh, the flights for America are cheap next year. Let's get it booked. Oh, there's only Winter Wonderland money gone.
Right. I have seen this question so many times that we just need to address it so it goes away. Would you ever record a video about the Blackpool elimination?
Yes, we'll do it. I'll do it. I promise. I'll do it once Pleasure Beach is nearly closed. I promise. I will make a point of doing it in a couple of weeks' time, because obviously we'll get to November, most of the parks will be closed. So at that time we'll mainly be covering Blackpool anyway. Well, we do anyway, don't we? But like even more so, it'll probably just be November. Will just be like Blackpool Overload. Should have been Florida. So yeah, we'll do Blackpool Illuminations video then, definitely.
Right. And I know exactly what Scott's answer to this will be, but do you want Saw to have a re-theme?
I'd like to see it in the skip because I just don't like it. I mean, I can see why people like it because it's themed to Saw and it's a torture device. So yeah, I can see why people like
The
it.
horror is just the
it's-
It's got nothing to do with the big blade.
I just don't like it. It's just one of those that I find is overly rough. I think if it was longer, like it was more dragged out, I think it would be better. But I think it's so much in such a little space. I think Becca's giving me a dirty look off camera. I just think it's too fast for its layout. I just think that's what it is. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think it's the same with Speed at Oakwood. And I won't talk about the multi-looping roller coaster in Alton Towers.
Right, we're back to Halloween now. We've remembered what we're going to talk about. So, Shooks is going to Scarefest for the first time. Any recommendations?
To which one? Sorry.
That note, I'm going to
Scarefest.
replace myself for a minute.
Yeah, okay.
What is going on here? Right, sorry, Becca, repeat the question, I'm sorry.
So, it says, I'm going to Scarefest for the first time. Any recommendations? Now, I'm sure there's about 5 Scarefests.
Alton Towers Scarefest.
Do the mazes middle of the day, apart from Toxic Junkyard, because they're all inside, so it doesn't matter whether it's dark or not.
Yeah, agreed.
Do Toxic Junkyard probably about 6 o'clock, and then you've still got night rides on Wickerman and Nemesis, Smiler, Oblivion.
Look at the screen and that bloody dinosaur.
He does look a bit drunk, that dinosaur leaning against the wall.
Well, just like Mike then. Right, there you go, pal. Sit there for us a minute. Right, so actually talking to it like it's real.
Yeah.
I know.
But
I
yes,
know.
Scarefest. I think you've nailed that one, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to keep up with the comments as well.
Yeah. Oh. Will you be going to Hull to try out their new rides this year?
Don't think I will be able to get
I
there.
don't think we'll get a chance. Just going back to the Halloween schedule, we've got so much going on with Halloween. I just think that it's going to be. The thing is, the big fairground is Winter Wonderland, and that's when we'll do it. So that's the thing. So I'm going to quickly take over for a second with these questions because I'm going to power through them a sec so we can have a quick chatter about some of the Halloween events as well. What's your favourite theme for a coaster? Not theming. I'd love to see more Batman and Superman themed stuff, but that's relying on Six Flags to do it. Any event spoilers for December? Unfortunately, I cannot give you those at this point in time because, well, I just can't. Excited for Valhalla. Mike is. I'm interested to see what they do. And thank you to Sophie for saying you love our videos. Much appreciated. What new rides are you looking forward to riding the most in Florida since the last time you went? Definitely the Velocicoaster at Universal. Really. He's back! Hello!
Can we replace him with the dinosaur again?
Definitely the Velocicoaster, that's its right name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one definitely. Iron Gwazi, I am excited for it. But I'll be honest, we've been looking at doing Halloween in Florida without it covering when we do British Halloween events. So if I was going to say that's going to happen, the thing I'd be most excited for would be Hollowscream, Busch Gardens, because I know most people talk about horror nights at Universal, but for me Busch Gardens looks elite. It really does. It's something I'd love to do. So yeah, Iron Gwazi's going to open March next year, so watch this space on that one. I really hope it does. Do you think the log flume will be frozen again? Well, quite possibly in December.
If it gets cold enough, it's only water.
And Mike will dance again like last time, which means he doesn't have to go on it. So, let's talk about Halloween for 10 minutes again, because that's what we started the live stream for. What is it you're most looking forward to at Tully's?
Street Theatre.
Agreed.
Street Theatre, wow, Shallow Dice. It just makes that event.
It does.
It really, really does. I can't stress that enough. That you can literally just get the street pass. I think it is.
You can.
I'm sure they still do it. Where you literally can go in because one of the best. We didn't film it. We went mid-October last time in 2019.
Yeah.
And they all had us doing conga going round. They had us all doing the time warp, and that was just a phenomenal part of it.
Just laughing at Carl's comment.
Possibly, Carl.
Anyway, yeah, I'd say for me that is the thing that is brilliant at Street Fair, and like you said, the time warp was ace. We weren't expecting that at a Halloween event.
No.
I think a lot of people don't realise how good it is when you've got the live bands on, you've got all the performers at the end coming together, and it just goes a little bit crazy, and it is just a good atmosphere. I love the stinging feel off the bonfires in my eyes when I get back to the hotel. I'm just like, I can't see. But Becca's got me something that'll prevent that from happening this year, which will be great because when I'm editing the video, I'll actually be able to see the screen. So the video might be good this year.
What, have you got them school safety goggles from the
No,
science lab?
I have actually got some of them somewhere from when my dad did welding. There's some safety glasses like that. So, oh no, right. I have to embarrass my parents right now at this point because that's what Becca's laughing at off screen. Back in 2017, when my dad was in hospital, he asked my mum to get him his glasses. My mum took him his safety glasses and not his prescription glasses. But my dad didn't realise, so wondered why he couldn't see. So his vision was rather fuzzy for a couple of days.
Sat in hospital with welding glasses on.
Wondering why we were all laughing, when it really wasn't a thing to be laughing at. I've just got a text off my mum saying, oi. At least we know the live stream's working quite well. So anyway.
That's a quick ping rate, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And thank you for the congratulations on the silver award in the theme park awards. Thank you very much, because we were nominated, I won't say up against, because I don't like to say that it's a you versus the other, because there's a lot of people in that category that we get on with really well. So I'd have been happy
Apart
with...
from Top Thrill Tourists.
Yeah. I was dreading what you were going to say. I'd have actually liked to have seen Parksville in the top 3, potentially winning it, because I feel like Sean has totally changed how we look at vlogs, and I know that you were particularly keen on mentioning that over the winter, saying everybody's going to be doing or trying to do what Sean does.
Well, put it this way, I saw their sort of teaser for our event vlog, and it's absolutely fantastic.
I'm going to ask Sean if we can use that to sell the next event.
Yeah,
We're just going to be like, right, we're not
absolutely
putting the itinerary.
fantastic.
This is just a video of what to expect, because that 2 minutes was just, it was fab. It was so good. I just really enjoyed it, and I think I've watched that probably 100 times over. So if the watch time is good on that one, Sean, then it's us.
Yeah, it's just us watching it over and over.
Because honestly, I have honestly watched it so many times, because it just brings back all the good memories of Carl trying to dance and everyone just having a really good time. It was a very good weekend, captured very well in 2 minutes, really.
It was.
So, next question, Becca.
Okay, what's your favourite scene in the Tower's dungeon?
Oh, that's a good one.
In the Tower's
Well, I could answer this because I've never done it, so
I know
fine.
what it is. It's a boat.
Yeah, look, it's a boat. Look, water. Get in the boat. You've got the accent for that.
I know. Other than that, I honestly think the pub scene's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
The pub scene is well put together, well thought out, and well executed.
We need to do it again.
Yeah,
It's actually been 2 years.
yeah. That for me is the best scene.
Carl says he's great at dancing. I think we should get him a medal.
You can tell he's a dad.
So on Friday, when we're both at Tully's then, I think you should have a dance-off with Mark.
Oh yeah, alright then. Yeah, right,
You
yeah.
heard it here, folks. Look at him now, he's like, right, how can I get out on Monday? Damn, me foot's hurting a little bit more.
I'll just be limping on one foot, it's still be better than Carl anyway.
To be fair, you'll do like what Ian did on Oktoberfest the other day and just do the Highland dance.
Yeah.
That he was doing, just do it on your one leg, that's alright.
Yeah.
It's on, apparently.
It's on, excellent.
Have you ever been to Dr. Fright's Fright Nights?
No, but it's on a list.
It's on the list, and maybe we should add it to this list here.
Yeah,
I think we should maybe consider doing it as...
It looks a phenomenal event and it gets some good reviews, so it needs to get done at some point.
Should we do it?
Yeah, alright, then add it to the list.
It's going on the list, people.
There we go, it's official now. Right, and while you're writing, here's your next question.
It's only doctor style writing.
Well, yeah. What maze do you most like the potential of for Journey to Hell Freak Nights?
Sorry, Ian. Didn't realise you were watching.
I tried!
I like the tunnels.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
The tunnels are good, because they're spooky anyway.
Yes.
So whatever
Yeah.
they've done to it, they'll just ramp it up.
Yeah, because there's so many rumours about them tunnels anyway, about what might or might not be down there, that...
Yeah. Would you say that's the same for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed that last time.
Yeah, agreed.
Also, the park geek in me is trying to work out where I am as well at the same time.
Exactly.
It's one of them. It's like, where am I going to pop out from?
Yeah.
It was just the fact that we went in underneath Planet Rock and ended up coming outside of, like, we
River
walked
Caves.
out inside of River Caves' station. It's like, how on earth have I
We
got
go around
here?
in a loop.
But we've obviously gone round in, like you say, a massive
In a
loop.
circle,
But yeah, I think if anyone from Pleasure Beach is watching, if we could do a behind the scenes tour of that on one of our events, that'd be excellent, by the way, because that would be so good. Dr. Frights, it's on the list, Peter. We're going to do it. Matt Ryan says he won't forget it. It's on. You dance off.
It's on, Matt. It's on.
It's on. It's going to happen. I would join in, but cameraman, you see, so it's a shame that. Yeah, I know what you're going to ask Mike now.
Right, we've got a question about being a bit bigger getting on rides.
right.
Have you guys seen anyone being turned away from the rides in the parks for being too big to fit on? So basically, just
Yeah, I'm here. Any specifics?
I'll be back in a second.
there's no specifics. This is just a bigger guy. I'm guessing he's a bit worried about doing the so-called walk of shame.
I've done it several times. It happens. It really depends on the ride. A lot depends on your body shape, mass, that sort of thing as well.
It depends where your bulk is a lot,
Yes.
I think, because I've got slightly bigger thighs than anything, and that can get in the way on some, like, Wicker Man is a nightmare if you've got bigger thighs.
Small.
You can get away with being big top heavy, but the thigh... Hey, Scott found the biscuits!
Wicker Man is one of the tightest ones.
Come on then.
All of them GCIs are tight though. Every single
The
one
best.
I've been on is tight of the GCIs. Every one of them.
Yes.
You see?
Well, we've got someone that's been turned away for being too tall
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
for Munich looping.
I couldn't relate because I always feel like I'm not far off, honestly.
I've
It's,
never heard of that one. I was going to say Infusion.
Infusion's the same. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Infusion's got
that's-
quite a tight height, maximum height limit.
Yeah.
Although Infusion, I always think by the time you're hitting that, you're probably hitting another limit as well with the actually getting the restraint to close. So, yeah, that's one I've never thought of.
I'm trying not to look at the biscuits.
Yeah, so what you want when you're on a diet is someone put biscuits in
Well,
front of
here's
your
something
face.
to think about then. What would you like to see happen to Ice Blast?
Remove it.
Refurb, replace, remove.
Remove.
And replace with.
Loki.
There we go. I think we're unanimous on that. aren't we?
Yeah.
I just think it's had
Gyro swing.
It's had its day for me. Ice Blast. And I just replace it with something new.
And given that it's got a similar-ish theme, I'm sure Leesburg will let him have the theme for it as well.
We just tie it in with whatever they're doing with Valhalla refurb. Just tie it in and put
Yeah.
a big gyro swing there.
Right, great question from Heather. What was your highlight of the September event weekend?
Highlight.
For me, it's Mike being late.
Highlight. There's so many highlights. As in the actual event itself was good to go round Pleasure Beach Express and also in Icon Garden. They were phenomenal because you just don't get them views of Icon anywhere else. And the other coasters as well.
Yeah.
I think there was a big thing was everyone being back together.
Yes.
Big group. Obviously, it's 2 years since we've had a group. Best part of since we've had a group like that together.
3 years from the event.
We did
No,
that.
I'm thinking in general for
Oh,
a
right, okay.
get together like that. It's
Yeah.
been a long time, and it's been like 2 years. There was a couple of bits that were not really off the event, but obviously mucking about on log flume is always funny.
Stompers were good.
Yeah.
That whole.
Yes.
That afternoon when we were
everyone-
all in the
Everyone coming together
yeah.
and when the Stompers were on was
That
phenomenal.
afternoon was brilliant.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Do you know what was really good though? Breakfast.
It was.
Yeah.
Best food at Pleasure Beach ever.
It was. Breakfast was amazing.
Sausage palms were ace.
Yeah. And just all of the hangovers was quite funny to look at while everyone's... No, the best one is Jimmy. Because I've seen our 3-year-old take bigger bites of breakfast
Yeah.
than Jimmy was able to handle. that was quite telling of the night Jimmy has had.
So, I found a question I wanted to answer. It's
While
got,
you're finding that, I'm going to say,
Do you want
I've
one?
heard-
Well,
do you think Pleasure Beach, this was the one, do you think Pleasure Beach and Amanda have anything to worry about with the new Blackpool indoor park? No, because it won't happen. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't think it'll happen. I think it's got as much chance of happening as a London resort.
yeah.
that's exactly what I was
Don't
going to
joke.
say. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's another one that's been rumoured over and over and over again in various forms. And
I will believe it when it's happening.
Yeah.
I really will.
I think we've got more chance of that new water park in Manchester happening, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully. I'll tell you one thing that would be ace in Blackpool, and I know there's probably one person that won't thank me for saying it. I'd love to see the Sandcastle get the expansion that they've been hoping to get for a long time.
Oh, I'd love to see that, yeah.
It'd be excellent if they
Yeah.
could knock through into the casino.
I mean, I tell you what they need. There's
they
one
don't
thing
need a drop
They
slide.
need a drop
They
slide.
do not need a drop
Oh,
slide.
they do.
We all saw your legs go wobbly on the last one, Mike. So why would you want another one?
I ran
See
up the
you on
stairs. yeah. Because for all it might be me coming down it, it's the sound of you coming down it is what I want to hear. I'll be happy to get down it first and then stand at the bottom and hear the scream come out of the tunnel.
I'll quite happily watch everybody go on it because I've done my quota of those 2, and that's enough. And I am not doing the one in Volcano Bay in Florida. That is not happening because that is as big as big one. That is not happening because they will hear me squeal in, well, here.
Yeah.
No chance.
So moving on then, do we have room in our events itinerary to go back to Fantasy Island as a group event?
I don't see why not. It's just whether everybody would want to do it because it's obviously going to be a very busy events calendar next year. But I don't see why not because Fantasy Island have always looked after Pleasure Beach Experience on events. You go back to 2014 when we arranged an event with them at 2 weeks' notice
Yeah.
because rumours are the park was going to shut down. So we wanted to do our bit to try and help them. And, well, they gave us a great day. They opened Jubilee Odyssey just for us, which was crazy because it was so windy and it was terrifying.
Absolutely slamming it down as well, wasn't
It was. We got rather soaked. But then we did an event there in 2016 and one in 2017 as well, and they looked after us so well on both events. So it has been ages since we've done one, but I don't see why not, really. I can't imagine they'd demand like a massive group, but at the same
It could
time
be
I
awesome
think
if
we'd
we
probably
got it.
get one.
It'd be awesome if we got it when, and I can't remember what its name is now, but when Blink finally opens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't remember what its name is
Well,
now.
Fantasy Island have got something else opening next year as well, which I think they've announced. I think they've announced it on socials at some point anyway. They've definitely got a new ride coming alongside Bling anyway, so any chance for behind the scenes of Valhalla redesign? No. Unfortunately not. It's not going to happen.
No.
Pleasure Beach
It took us long enough to get the last one.
it's a difficult one. You've got so many things with that ride that Pleasure Beach don't want people to see because it is their special experience, and I understand that. It's like Thorpe with Darren Browns. They've let one group do it behind the scenes. They won't allow it again. We've been lucky that we've done 2 on Valhalla. I don't think we'll do one again. But never say never, because I never thought we'd walk Pleasure Beach Express on a track walk on an event again. Big shout out to Andy Highgate at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I know he won't be watching because he's busy doing Pleasure Beach work at the minute. He's on duty away with Pleasure Beach, like quite a few from Pleasure Beach are at the minute at IAPA. But if he does see it, thank you, because you've changed events massively for us. So with Andy, anything is possible. So never say never, but I don't think so. That's where I'd go with that.
Yeah. Right, so a couple of people have phrased this question a bit differently. Does Pleasure Beach have room to expand?
Yes.
They do. They certainly do.
My theory of what they could do, I think quite a lot of people have posted this as well, probably you guys as well, that I think one of the car parks could become a multi-storey and they could use one of the car parks and maybe the Globe Theatre. Oh, they'll never get rid of the Globe Theatre because it still gets used. And all the area behind it where the water chute was is a maintenance area. But there's no reason why the car park across from the Grand National couldn't be multi-storey car park used, or maybe even that used. I don't know. Bridge over the road into a new ride area. I don't know.
The other question is, by Pleasure Beach expanding, is not necessarily the ground area they've got to work with getting bigger. It's where can they build a ride under, over, through and round everything else that's there, which they've proved for, 40, 50, 60 years that they're masters at doing.
Yeah.
If you think about, they managed to plonk the big one in what was probably the busiest park in the world at the time.
The thing is as well that they're getting rid of the hotel in the corner, aren't they? Across from the car park. I'm sure they are. The Argosy.
Oh, the Argosy
to make more parking, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
I think, like you say, they don't necessarily have to expand. I think Pleasure Beach are just generally very creative for what they do.
Yeah.
And I believe
again, Icons prove that.
Yeah, and I believe it was on one of our events, Becca, and in the early years, Mike, you'll remember this, one of the engineers who did a Q&A with us basically said, if we can build a station, we can build anything.
Yeah.
Basically, we need to find somewhere that we can have the ride start from and end, brake run, lift hill, or launch in Icon's case, maintenance access points, sorted. Everything else can fit around. That was what we got told, and then obviously they built Icon. But I think Pleasure Beach has more space than people realise, and they are, like we've said, they are the masters of winding things round and up and over. And I mean, there's no reason why they can't cut more holes in the woodies to put rides through. They've done it enough times already. So
we've had an interesting one. We always seem to have this thing, doesn't matter who we've got on either a live stream or a video, there's always someone that everyone's like, where are they?
to be fair,
Today,
Mullet,
it's Mullet.
in all fairness, Mullet has not been in a PBE video now for probably 12 months at least.
At least, yeah.
Good news, he will be next week. There we go.
Good stuff.
But yeah, he's well, he's alright. He looks better than he ever has. If he's watching, Mullet, you can send me the money in the post. He looks really good. He's slimmer than he's ever been. He's cut his hair off, so he's no longer Mullet, I'm afraid. We can't talk about hair. And
No, we can't.
he's doing well in life. He's doing really well for himself. So, yeah, he's not as full on a coaster fan as us. He's more a Pleasure Beach and Cedar Point fan who liked doing coasters with us, but then obviously work got in the way of things, so he wanted a particular career. He's got it, so that takes his time. So, and he's like Mike, he's a party animal, he likes going out. It's just that, just like Mike, he can't handle it. But yeah, he's good, he's well, he's fine, and you'll be seeing him on the channel in October, definitely.
Good stuff. Right, we always get asked this question, what do we all do for jobs?
I'm a cameraman.
I could easily say, not in work at the moment.
Unemployed.
Between jobs.
Between jobs.
Between jobs.
Civil service.
Meet your new manager. Yes.
And I'm an IT, I manage a help desk, and also the systems administrator.
And fixes laptops in the house as well when things go wrong.
Yeah, general IT support for the planet whenever someone decides to ask.
Yeah, definitely. So it's fair enough.
So someone's clearly quite late to this video.
Yeah.
Halloween's just around the corner. Will you be visiting any scare meetings?
Right, we'll do a recap
Yes.
because it has been nearly 2 hours since we started. So hello Luke, welcome to the live stream. Halloween just round the corner. We will be doing Tully's Shocktoberfest twice. Yes, can't wait. Fort Park Fright Nights, Blackpool Pleasure Beach Freak Nights, The Howl, Hallow Scream York, Screamfest Burton, Terror Island, Horror at Hitchinbrook, Blackpool Pleasure Beach Vampire Beach, which I know technically speaking is not a Halloween event, and we've added one to the list on the recommendation of the live chat, Dr. Fright Nights, or is it Dr. Fright's Nights? I don't know, something like that.
Dr. Fright's Fright Nights.
Dr. Fright's Fright Nights.
That's a mouthful to say.
It is.
I'll let you say that.
If we do a vlog there, you're introducing it. So, If you could bring back one ride to Pleasure Beach's past log flume, that's what I'd bring back.
Virginia reel.
I just put that love flume, I think.
I'd go with one I've been on, but it would have been nice to do the Virginia reel. Oh wait, no one's saying the Wild Mouse.
I'd put Bling back, personally.
Good
Just
shout.
go skeggy for it.
Yeah.
It's a long drive.
It is, there is that. When will you go back to Ventura to ride Shambhala? Well, when I go back to Ventura, I'll be watching the saloon show of me chicken nuggets or whatever it is we eat.
Chicken nuggets, isn't it?
Chicken nuggets. I'll be having an Estrella Dam. I'll be going on the log flume. Shambhala's probably at the bottom of the list of things I want to do when I go back to Ventura because I think it's massively overrated.
I am not waiting 2 hours like we did last time.
No,
Me, you and
Stuz, never again is he talking me into doing Shambhala's last ride of the day when everything else was walk on. So we went, do you know what, we'll do Shambhala. He's asked us all day to do it as a night ride. 2 hours later, yeah, that was horrendous. I don't know how a 2 hour queue could happen when it was on 3 trains in a park that was empty, but it happened when everything else was walk on. It's just like, why has this happened? But
And
yeah,
it's a horrific queue line.
it's not a
Oh,
nice
That
queue.
is a horrible place to queue.
Top tip for Ventura: buy fast pass. It's cheap. It's
Yeah.
actually almost as cheap as park entrance.
Yeah.
It's worth it, honestly. It's so worth it.
So, Inger, hello. Inger thinks park match at the most brilliant, but what new stuff would we like to see?
Pleasure Beach. More Big One merch, I think.
Yeah.
More Big One merch.
New Big Mom merch, yeah.
Zippy hoodies.
Yeah.
Can we just have just pocket ones instead?
Yeah, zipped pocket ones.
No, just
He wants ones like this, like what we've got on now.
Yeah.
I like
The
both.
kangaroo.
Well,
Yeah, I like them.
It's alright for those of you that don't have hair. It's a bit of a faff when you do have to think about
Was
it.
that a targeted
It was targeted abuse, that wasn't it?
There's a bit of a theme going on, let's just say.
Balls.
Well, at least Carl agrees with me. There we go, thank you, Carl.
I agree with you. I like zipped hoodies sometimes.
Sometimes.
It depends on what hoodie. I say that as I'm going to ask you to print a PBE hoodie that's got a zip down the middle of it later, but there we go.
Well, yeah. What is the best scare maze you've done? I don't know if we covered that already.
I think we have,
Yeah.
but I can't remember what I said.
I said flesh pot me.
Flesh pot, yeah.
As in,
Oh, the actual best rather than the scariest.
Yeah.
That's really difficult because there's been some really well themed ones that have been not even close to being scary.
the best ever maze was Sanctuary.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I'd probably say either the Asylum or I can't remember the name of it, but there's a couple at Port Ventura that were absolutely incredible in 2018. But I know one you did at Port Ave as well with me was Wreck.
No, I didn't do that.
Did you
It
not
was
do
you
it?
and Mitch.
It was just me and Mitch that did
You
it.
and Mitch did it because I went and queued up for the TV Splash that morning.
So you did. Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, so yeah, I'd say one of the Port Ventura ones because they're always well themed, and one of the actors decided to like nest their face in my shoulder once I had a big blood patch of like all their makeup on a yellow t-shirt. So yeah, that was interesting.
Right, what is your favourite airtime moment in the UK? I know what mine is. It is when the big one's running well,
I
when
know.
it tries to launch you into the big blue. Excellent.
I'd say that definitely is up there for me. Or the big one's first drop on the back row in the left seat when you are pretty much in an ejector seat. Because if you did not have that lap bar, you would land on the moon. Because the airtime is that good. Otherwise, I do really like, if you catch it on the right seat, Icon's airtime through the big one on the airtime hill.
Front row.
But only in the front row. Because I just think it's a bit of a, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that moment.
No, agreed.
I like that bit on Megaphobia.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still does it as it used to, but do you know when it sort of there's a crest and then it
Oh, kind of like
Yeah.
goes like that and then over
Yeah.
and yes, I know exactly where
sort
you
of
mean.
launches you up sideways and
Yes.
out at the same time.
Yeah, it still does that.
It is good.
I think that's one of the bits that's
That's
been
really good.
retracked actually, and it is still just as good, definitely.
Right, so this question, we definitely know why this won't happen. Do you think Pleasure Beach will ever have a full winter wonderland style season during December and January?
No.
No.
Winter maintenance.
Exactly.
I am surprised they're open in December, I've got to be honest. But we'll see how it goes.
And we've had another, what do you expect for Valhalla's return?
Just less
water.
Less water.
Yeah.
Less water.
You think?
As long as the...
I hope it's got less water.
it wouldn't be so bad if the
Vortex
doesn't come down in the middle of the boat.
Yeah, agreed. If there's no vortex coming down in the middle of the boat, I'll probably go on it a lot more.
That doesn't per se mean we don't want the vortex, by the way.
No,
we just don't want it
the vortex,
in the boat. The vortex is one of the best bits of it.
Yeah, I've no issue with the vortex being there. My issue is that it was at basically neck level when it last opened. So for me, I'd keep it, but I'd either put like a screen to stop it coming into the boat altogether, or just make sure it doesn't end up like here. Because I've had lung surgery, and one of the reasons I wouldn't go on Valhalla very often, when in its last couple of years as it was, is when that cold water went over my back, I lost like any sort of breath for a couple of seconds, and it used to scare me quite a bit because I was like, so I think for me it's just, if it's like that again, I'll probably do it once and never again. But I don't think it will be, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think there's been spoilers from Pleasure Beach. The boats are going to be slightly different in terms of what they look like. I think the boats will actually be the same boats, they'll just look different. We know the audio's changing. I'm glad it's changing, because Valhalla's music was not Valhalla's music originally, it was Hot Ice soundtrack. So Valhalla will probably have a completely new track, as far as my understanding. I mean, the Notable Stranger has been posting on Twitter about it, so it's not a secret. The music's changing, and I think it's right to change it, rebrand it, retheme it, give it new music. I think the fire will stay, but I think it'll be more cost effective.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that'll be definitely something they'll have worked on, is how to bring the rumoured costs down.
Yeah, that's the thing we have to emphasise, that the costs were always rumoured. So, yeah.
Yeah. Right, Ricky is visiting Pleasure Beach for the first time in years. How excited should he be about Icon? It now seems to not have much hype.
Low expectations, I'd say. Don't build the hype up. Just have an open mind. If I was you...
Just enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy it for what it is, and don't make the mistake that many enthusiasts have made, me included. When you go on a ride for the first time and go, well, it could do this, it could do that differently, it could go here, it could go there, it could be built by this company. Just try and enjoy it for what it is, and then sort of dissect it from there once you've been on it a few times. First time, front row, has to be. Second time, back row if you can get it. Definitely.
If I'm not stood there.
Yeah, if he stood there, make friends with him.
Yeah.
Guaranteed back row if Mike's there.
Right, what are the coaster counts?
355.
Oh,
230.
it's on the laptop.
I think it's 236. It's definitely in the 230s.
I think it's 331. I'm like 14 behind you or something. 15.
Yeah, I'm 355.
I'm 187 wacky words behind Mark.
And I'm going for quality over quantity, and I'm only at 202, but that's because I refuse to sit and do wacky worms all day. I won't do
And
it.
in Becca's defence, Becca had a child.
Yeah, in that.
Yeah, slight
That did
disruption.
remove like 3 years of my life doing coasters. So.
Slight disruption.
Slight, yeah, because I was ahead of everyone, and then.
I took over you in Florida.
Yeah. And did Mark already announce to the scare actors to come at him?
I
We have had a bit of that.
I'd just like to point out that I think it's on Insta, isn't it? Where literally an actor has already said, I know that when you're coming, and I am ready for you. So I don't need to announce anything, it's just like, thanks.
Yeah, I think if there is any scare actors watching, I think what I'd really recommend is targeting this guy, because, yeah, you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and so will I.
Like at Hello Screen, when he started shouting my name in my face.
Yeah.
When I was on the floor.
That guy is definitely going to get you again, because I've pretty much had confirmation that's going to happen. So I'm not going to mention your name, but if you're watching, you know who you are, and thank you.
Okay, so other than an RMC, What kind of coaster would you like to see in the UK?
An Intamin hypercoaster, like Hyperion.
I'd go along with that, but I'd also take a Lek clone as well.
Yes, Lek is a Vekoma Bermuda Blitz coaster, which is at Legendia in Poland, and it's epic. It's bite-sized, but it's epic. So yeah.
And I'd take an Abyssus.
Come on, get on camera if you want, you know.
That's alright.
You just like hiding, don't you?
I'm hiding. Thoughts on Thorpe's flat rides?
Rush is epic.
Yeah.
Rush is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, I do like Rush.
Yeah, it's excellent. Samurai, I don't really bother with it anyway. I don't like those type of rides really. I don't like how you slide around in the seat. I always feel a little bit uncomfortable. I preferred Bling to that kind of style, to be honest. What else have they got? Quantum, I've not been on that for years.
Third time machine, that thing.
It is. I'm too big for that. It just crushes my thighs.
Yeah,
I can get on it, but I'm too big for it. And the thing with my thighs is no matter how much weight I lose, my thighs don't change. So I'll always be tight on that. Vortex is a swingy one, isn't it? I've not been on that for about 10 years. Zodiac. That's a proper mank that was. You just needed to give it that at the end of it. Yeah.
I like Zodiac because I always like Enterprises.
I've not been on that for a long time. I remember when that was opened and it had like the decals from another park on it because it had been.
Was it Light Water or something?
I think it was Drayton.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Drayton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when Fort were building, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
It was one of those where it just kind of appeared.
Fair enough. Right, we've got Amy who is going to the Pleasure Beach in the morning.
Have a great day.
However, is not getting there till 1 and it shuts at 5 tomorrow. How much do you think they'll get done?
Everything.
I think it'll be ghost town territory. I'll even check the wind speed for you. Give me 2 minutes and I will have a look on the Met Office to see what you can expect with a big one weather. Oh God, I wouldn't like to call it. It's westerly. It's northwesterly.
A particularly ill wind.
For the big one coming from the Irish Sea. Our manager Jim Rowland. The big one might be open. It is going to be very windy.
If it does, run to it.
If the big one's open
you
when you're there,
go.
Yeah, if it's when you get to the park and the big one's open, I'd say go for it. Otherwise, I think everything will be really quiet because it is off peak in the week at the minute. Off peak in the week.
Yeah,
Nailed
September is generally really quiet.
Yeah. So is October, and it's nearly October. Can you believe it?
No.
Remember when we used to start PBE monthly? Go, it's this month already. It's feeling like that. It's nearly October. The thing is, we used to film them like halfway through a month, so it wasn't actually the month I was saying it was. But yeah, anyway.
What's your least favourite coaster that was hyped up to be good?
Smiler. Oh, sorry, I got a bit of a cough there.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Was it generally everywhere or?
Yeah.
Smiler in England, definitely. I'm sorry for that. There was about 5 years of hype for that thing.
Yeah.
And
no, I don't get it.
I just was like, okay, I'm not a fan of like looping coasters particularly. Dragon Con's like an exception really. I don't mean like coasters with loops, just ones with that many loops.
Taron.
Yeah, Taron's mine as well.
Bin.
You heard these two.
Bin.
What was up with Taron? What'd you say? Both of you.
Exactly
Nicely.
the question.
Just-
Exactly the question. It was overhyped.
Yeah, fair enough.
Very
exactly
much
the
over.
question.
I just didn't.
There's so much about it, and then it's like, well, it's a good coaster, but it's not. I wouldn't put it like in really high up.
No, absolutely not. It's just a bit dull moving side to. I've been on more
The
exciting
other thing is
rides
I
than
struggle
Taron.
with. I say this a lot about Taron. I struggle with the seats that hurt my back.
Yeah.
That twist knackers my back up. So if I was going to enjoy the ride, that just completely destroys it because it's just uncomfortable and painful.
It is one of those rides. It's a bit like when someone discovers on Roller Coaster Tycoon that they can do the twists, and they just go, you know what? I'm going to make a whole ride out of this. A bit like how the Smile where they went, we can do loops. and they run with it, and it
Bosh, 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 bosh,
doesn't
bosh, bosh.
work. We need a bit of variety in that.
Thing is, I suspect I always go back to Maverick here, but I honestly think if Taron had Maverick's train, I'd like it a lot more.
I've not been on, so I can't say. But really interesting one here. I feel as if Avalanche doesn't get enough hype. What do we think?
There's a reason for it.
It's
all right.
Avalanche.
It's not bad. It's a bit of fun.
I can't remember what we said about it in the video.
Oh, I can't because I was editing it about 4 hours ago. It was favourable.
Alright, okay.
Favourable comment.
Problem is, I find that you as a regular visitor, I won't queue for it unless I see the queue is minuscule.
Do it early on.
Do it early on.
Do it first ride, second ride after roller.
You know where I normally stood.
There's a problem with that though. Avalanche doesn't run any good until it's been running for about 10 hours.
True. So what you're saying is, for it to be good, we need to book an ERT on it.
Pretty much.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, nighttime ERTs.
After a 10:10.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine? That'd be great.
It would. It'd be running so good. The best time I've ever been on Avalanche is RERT at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was dark, it was cold, it was
February
brilliant.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You know I'm good at remembering these things.
Yeah.
I remember Mark being, not this Mark who organises it, being stood there with about 12 coats on because it was that cold.
Right.
Yeah. Right, what do we think the Pleasure Beach will look like in 10 years' time?
Do you know, that's a funny question because I think about it 10 years ago and yeah, it's very different, but when the changes happen, they're just so gradual that it doesn't feel like much has changed, but then you look back on pictures and go, oh yeah, remember that,
That
remember
used
this.
to be there, and that used, especially
Yeah.
when you look at the Nickelodeon area of the park and how much has changed in that corner.
What about Tom Sawyer Bridge?
Well,
It's one of those
again,
things.
Yeah. I still forget that's gone though. That is still the Pleasure Beach that's in my head. I walk up there and see Icon and I'm a little bit disappointed. It's a long walk round.
It is a long way around.
The thing is, for me as well, it's like all those years we rumoured it, not necessarily us, but at the time, like I've known you a lot longer than I've known Mark and Becca, and I just think about how many years it was rumoured about the bridge.
That bridge was going.
And then when it went, it's like, oh, it's actually gone, what we're going to talk about now.
Well, every time they did a bit of repair work on it, if a new slat was painted,
Yeah.
replaced, or a different nail was put in, the rumours went wild.
But don't forget, they were actually going to build infusion over it. That was the original plan, to keep the log flume. Because everyone sort of thinks that infusion was like a sudden replacement for the log flume. Traumatizer was going to Blackpool regardless. Whether Southport shut or not, Traumatizer was going. It was happening. It'd been, how long was it rumoured for before it happened? About 3 years at least.
I don't know, because I wasn't really in the scene at that point.
So I remember it really clearly in like 2004 and 5, and everyone was like, Traumatizer was originally built that it, with the mindset of it would always go to Blackpool at some point, and it was just maybe not as soon as it happened. But there was talk in 2004 the log flume was going to go, then in 5, and then obviously it happened in 2006. But obviously Pleasureland Southport then closed a matter of days before or after the log flume closed forever, and all of a sudden it was like, well, Traumatizer's going to happen. But I think Traumatizer was going to happen to Pleasure Beach regardless. And I remember there being so many markings on the Tom Sawyer Bridge, like we saw for Icon, with track, this, that, the other, all marking it out all around that area. And I think it was just, they would have had to get rid of the bridge, and at the time they weren't ready to do it. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Because imagine that now.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird when you think about it, and it would ruin that view.
Yes, it would.
And then obviously Icon couldn't have been there because it'd have had to be something completely different. So it's just weird when you think about what could have happened. And one I'm going to throw out there, I know there's probably more questions to look at. I always think that it's interesting that Pleasure Beach didn't get an Arrow corkscrew, and my theory on it is because Alton Towers got their Vekoma corkscrew. Because I genuinely believe Pleasure Beach would have got one after the Rev. Because obviously the Rev went down quite a treat until corkscrew. But I reckon Pleasure Beach would have gone, do you know what, we've got one looper, let's get another one. We've got two loopers then. Arrow and Pleasure Beach, are you coming in?
I'll give Mark's seat one for a minute.
Yeah, I just imagine that if Towers hadn't have got theirs, Pleasure Beach would have got one instead of Avalanche. That's just my thoughts on it.
Fair enough.
So, just a random little theory. Hello.
Hello. So the next question then. Wipeout at Pleasurewood Hills. Thoughts?
I liked it.
Intense.
Very, very
Yeah, it's
intense.
alright.
Yeah. I'd say you can only ride it twice in a row, I'd say. And that's not because it's rough either, it's just because of how intense it is.
Oh, this is a brilliant question. Do you think Towers is a 2-day park?
Oh, I answered that in the comments. Definitely not.
No.
I do need to catch up a bit. I'm trying not to miss any good questions.
Yeah,
So I'm quite far back, so bear with me.
I just sort of read through the comments. Whoever said City were losing 3-0, you 2 goals wrong. It's 1-0 to PSG. Becca out, Mark in. You're being sacked.
Bye. That's fine. I'll be gone in a minute when he comes back anyway. Right. When will Pleasure Beach get a Nando's? They won't.
No.
No, I don't think Burger King will allow that, to be perfectly honest. I think Burger King will pull rank on that.
This one's a bit random. Your favourite ride from any pier?
I've got one. The booster at Brighton Pier. That was terrifying. Over the water. It's just really weird setting for it. I'd love to see one on South Pier. Because I remember when Pleasure Beach sold Spin Doctor, and there was rumours that they were going to have one. They were going to have one of the arms and have it on one of the piers. That'd have been brilliant.
Yeah. I'm going to try and go with the technicality on this.
Oh dear.
Because it's not a pier as you would think about, but you do kind of walk up a pier that's in a lake to get to it, and that is the Sky Coaster in Kissimmee in Florida.
Well,
It's got a little walkway that
we'll
you
give
could
you that.
technically call a pier.
Can I count Cedar Point as a pier?
No!
Absolutely not. You've been to Brighton Pier twice. Surely Turbo's your favourite.
Shuddering.
Right.
Right, would you consider a PBE trip to Heidi Park?
Yeah, 100% that's going to happen in the future.
And I'm going to honour the wish that Becca's out and Mark's back. You've been missed, Mark.
You've been missed,
Thank
mate.
you.
Apparently you look tired though.
Well, it's been a long couple of days.
Yeah, sat at home, chilling.
Sat at home, chilling,
Waiting for your new job to start.
foot up.
Yes.
How are you progressing with the 125 documentary?
Well, it was almost ready to be edited and go and be uploaded actually this week, but we had quite a lot of people come forward and offer to be in it from the attractions industry, including some very, very famous people who work for ride manufacturers or own theme parks, and they've come forward and they've offered to be in it. Pleasure Beach have offered to help with more people to be interviewed for us. There's roller coaster enthusiasts that I've still not interviewed for it.
You didn't, mate.
Don't mind.
Event
I need to do
weekend.
yours again. I'll explain why off camera. It was rubbish. Yeah, we need to do Mark's, we need to do Becca's, we need to do mine. We could get bits out of yours, but I reckon if I show it you in a bit, you'll want to do it again. I reckon. I think you were put off by Stuz flapping.
Faffing.
Yeah. Sorry, Stuz, if you're watching.
We're not. We say every time, don't we, about Stuz faffing.
Yeah, that's true. But no, on a serious note, it's going to be. I've had the okay to do this with Pleasure Beach. We are publishing it in December when the park is probably closed, because the way we're going to do it is this was filmed throughout the 125th year anniversary season, so it's going to be released towards Christmas time, which gives me time to finish it properly. There's going to be a very good narrator doing the narration, which is not me, thankfully. He's got a very popular YouTube channel and does excellent narrated videos. You're welcome to take a guess in the comment section, but I'm not going to say who it is. But yeah, it's progressing well, and there's been a lot of excellent people from the industry who've come forward to help. There's more people I need to speak to to try and see if they're up for being in it, and I just need to pull my finger out with doing some of the interviews really, but I think they're going to wait now until November, and then it's going to be full speed ahead, get the documentary on. But I am excited for people to see who's in it, really excited.
Very good. Will there be a PBE blooper reel coming soon?
No, not for a while, because there's not been any blooper moments, like idiotic moments from you, because we don't walk and vlog anymore.
No,
we stand still and vlog, and that's the issue, because we've not got inbuilt stabilisation in the new camera. So if we walk and vlog, honestly, it's absolutely terrible. We tried it at Thorpe, didn't we?
Yeah,
where we did the old traditional walking with the camera out. We watched it back, and basically we might as well have filmed it on a Pinfari, because it was just shockingly shaky. So it was just like, do you know what? We just have to stand still. So we don't get Mike tripping up anymore when he's walking.
Also, my last injury was while I was on my own somewhere and not with the camera running, so...
Yeah, so...
Yeah, same.
Scott out, Jimmy in. Good luck. Mike
That'd be
out.
the quietest discussion ever.
Mike out, Stuz in. Airtime John in. Well, Airtime John is a legend, but...
So the people want Jimmy and Stuz in, they'll be getting a video like once a month, if you're lucky.
Well,
Yeah.
no, there'd just be 2 empty seats where they should be, but I'll turn it up about... Like, if this was now, they'd be probably just about setting off in the next hour.
Any plans for any more European park visits? Portaventura in November, once we've jumped through all the hoops to get there. Hopefully it'll be easier than what Chris has had to deal with going lately. Most underrated UK dark ride can include former attractions, Mike.
Most underrated.
Underrated. Dart ride.
I don't think dark rides get overrated or underrated.
No.
Don't really get spoken about. We have to admit that none of us have done Gangster Granny yet.
No.
That sounded really wrong. But none of us have done it at Alton Towers yet. To be honest, I'll probably do it whenever me, Becca and Charlie go to Towers. Whenever that may be. Because it's just one of those where if it was us free, we'd just look a bit dodgy doing it. I just don't think it'd be right.
And I've no context on the
my
basis of it either, because I've never watched or seen anything of the books and what TV that it's based on, so...
Yeah. So, Becca's asking me the time. The time is, on the Big Brother house, 10 to 9.
How long do you want to go on for is my...
Oh, right. I don't know. People are still watching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we'll just keep going until people get bored. If you're bored, let us know, and we'll go and watch Bake Off and shut up. But I'm quite happy to just chat away for the rest of the night until I get tired. So I'm sorry, guys, unless you want to call it time.
That's alright.
But I think the thing is, we'll just keep going until everyone's had enough, really. I don't know if you had enough. Do you want to go and watch Bake Off?
It's all good.
You're more than welcome to go and watch Bake Off if you want.
It's all good. I'm going to go and put the kettle on for a minute. And while I do that, what are your thoughts on a modern Woody at the Pleasure Beach?
Modern. I'll take a GCI.
What about Gravity Group?
Yeah. Gravity Group as well. Do some phenomenal coasters. I'd love a modern day Woody to complement the classic.
Where's your mug?
That one.
I put mine back.
Oh,
That's
So-
why I can't...
2 coffees in the big cups,
Yep.
no sugar,
Yep.
and well, you know what we have.
Drinks orders in.
Yeah, the drink orders. If we,
I'd honestly take a modern day Woody to complement the other ones. I genuinely would.
yeah, agreed. Same. Do you know what?
I mean, I'd
though?
love to see someone like her calling in.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Absolutely love to see something like that.
I'd go with Gravity Group, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I really like Great Coasters International, but I'd love to see a Gravity Group Woody in England somewhere, whether it's Pleasure Beach, Thorpe,
Anyway.
Polton's, wherever. I think one of their family Woodies at Polton's would be excellent, by the way. I don't know if something like that would happen. Would they go for a Woody? I don't know. They've just built.
They might
Stone
do.
Chaser.
It's an avenue for them to expand into, isn't it?
It is, because I've got an itchy nose.
There's such an up and coming park.
That's the thing, that I can imagine them having a Gravity Group Woody. I really can, because Gravity Group do a lot of the, like, you think about the wooden coaster at Park St Paul as an example, which is quite a family friendly wooden coaster.
Even like the Kentucky Kingdoms, Kentucky
Yeah,
Flyer.
Kentucky Flyer, and you think that kind of thing is no scarier than, let's say, Storm Chaser is there. So we've gone way off the Pleasure Beach here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, we've done a whole PBE monthly style going off the subject, haven't we? Yes to the question, definitely.
Definitely.
So I will keep the questions coming for you guys. If you could refurb a UK ride, what would it be, and what would you do to improve it?
Refurb.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly.
Tricky
I don't know.
one, that.
I honestly don't know what I'd refurb, to be honest with you. Not obviously. Big ones being done anyway. Other than that, no.
Oblivion, flawless trains. I know you don't think it can be done, but I do.
It would be a good
It probably
shout.
could be done.
I think it could be done.
It
She-Crew was done with the old style.
Yeah, it was redone. Whether they would do it at this
I
point
don't think
isn't
they
on
would
the
do
matter,
it.
but
I think once
I mean,
Nemesis is gone, Oblivion won't be
yeah,
far
it's
behind.
probably not far off it.
To be perfectly honest.
For
goodness sake, there's another one. There's another one.
Someone asked me to try and make Mark jump. I don't think that worked as I was expecting it
No.
to.
Have we not got any clown masks or anything somewhere?
I don't, oddly enough.
Dad, if you're still watching, go and get one of those clown masks out of the shed. Chuck it in the backyard. So, anyway. What do you think of the new trains for Zeus at Park Asterix?
Look good.
They look good, but I'm reserving judgment until I've been on it because Zeus was excellent with the trains it had. What I'd love to do though, again. Thoughts on the Ultimate's future at Lightwater Valley?
I think it'll go.
I think it's done.
I do as well.
Unfortunately, that they are actually swing back to another question. That one,
The
for
refurb,
refurbish, yeah,
RMC.
RMC it.
It's a hybrid anyway, so.
Yeah, actually, I can't even imagine the work that they'd have to do to make that an RMC.
Yeah.
But I think
I think you'd
epic.
be talking about almost rebuild. You'd be rebuilding from
That's the
scratch,
thing, though,
wouldn't you? But
RMCs are basically, you knock it down and
Yeah.
you build it back up again.
if you made it like twice the height it is now, if they've got the planning that's possible, so it doesn't run out of steam
Yeah.
and doesn't need two huge lift hills,
Yeah.
it could. There's the possibilities you've got there are endless, apart from money.
Agreed. So
Which is the reason they're in that situation to start with.
I've got an answer to this, but I'll ask you to, and I don't think you'll have the same answer as me. Do you like the idea of coasters being themed to films and series?
Not really, because it's one of them where it's a bit of a. Okay, it's not a coaster, but Gangster Granny's a typical example.
I don't know.
If you don't know it or you're not familiar with it, you don't watch it. I think Walking Dead's probably a good example there.
I don't know, I mean, like, if you think to, obviously, Great Adventure, Superman, you don't need really. If it's a big movie, like Superman,
Yeah.
and that, then people understand.
Timeless.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing is, they're massive, massive names, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, you think about that, and like, I think, yeah, in some respects, but not like, obviously, like Walking Dead's obviously only
Bit
little.
niche.
Yeah, it's a bit
niche.
niche.
Yeah.
It's only run for a certain number of years.
Yeah.
Then
And personally, again, on that back of that, I thought, well, the ride that was there before was better.
yeah,
Yeah.
know it's the same.
But the theme
the
is,
theming, yeah.
to me, was better.
For me, obviously, if you've watched any of our summer vlogs, you'll probably notice at points that I do have a Superman tattoo here. So I would love to see Six Flags explore more of the Batman and Superman and those characters in terms of the rides that they have. I know that their rides are regularly themed to Superman and Batman, but I think about those rides and they are loosely themed at best. They are.
I think the closest thing one they've got is Superman, Ultimate Flight.
Yeah, but I'm Batman. Well, it's not Six Flags anymore, is it?
No. Part Warner.
Park Warner, because that obviously got the Arkham Asylum when you go in, and also when you go in on Superman, you know that you're entering the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly.
The Daily
I
Planet.
think they were probably the best ones that Six Flags ever did.
Yep.
In terms of theme. I say that I've been to one Six Flags park and two Six Flags parks, but from those that I've seen, they look like the best. I always think as well, and I remember Chris, who has regularly been in videos with us on PBE. I remember when we did Taron last year, and I said to him, this could be a Gotham City themed coaster. It has all the right attributes to be a very well themed Batman coaster. Obviously it isn't, because it's got its own theming, but I would like to see a Batman coaster themed like Taron, but with the Batman stuff added to it, because I feel like that would be the perfect Gotham City kind of coaster. I'd just like to see, I know they'll never do it, I'd like to see a park which isn't Six Flags go all in on a Batman or a Superman themed coaster, because I just think, because they're both timeless characters, they could go on forever. You'd never need to worry about re-theming them. Whereas, this...
I've not thought about this very well.
You carried 4 cups of brews and back. I can't even carry 2 without spilling it all over the carpet. Well done.
Excuse us for a minute, guys.
Tea break.
Tea break.
Tea break.
Cheers.
We have to do this to make sure Mike stays awake, you see.
Thank you.
So, right, let's catch up on the comments. We've covered, the London Resort one has been covered. We don't think it'll happen. We'd all like it to happen. Do you think Merlin will revert Jewel back to the haunted house?
I'd love them to.
I'd love them to now, because Jewel is just kind of pointless. I'm just trying to go through the ones that will we go to America after November? Absolutely.
The event.
Several times, I would imagine. Do we have any plans to go to Dubai? Maybe so in the future. I wouldn't like to say yes or no at this point. I just think...
I'll answer that one slightly. I may think about doing it if I was... Personally, I'd like to go back to Australia again. It's a transit option.
Yeah.
It's a transit option. Example, Emirates fly from Manchester to Dubai to Australia, so it's a possibility.
Yeah,
but by the same token, you could easily go Abu Dhabi as well, or Hong Kong, or any number of other places, so it's possible.
It's not high on my bucket list. It's somewhere I'd like to go.
It's not high, no.
It's not where I'll ultimately go first.
I think I'd rather go to Japan first, I've got to be honest. They've got...
Naka.
Yeah, well, you knew the name before I did, but me and Becca were looking at it the other day, and we were saying that we'd probably consider going there at some point. They've got Arrow corkscrews as well. So
Hong Kong's got a couple of good little parks.
I think...
So it's a possibility.
I think it would... I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with these comments. And Lewis Wright, you're posting a lot of comments at once. If you could maybe just keep these to 1 post at a time, or at least 2 at a time. It's hard to follow. Do you think the UK could host a Warner Brothers or Universal Park or a Six Flags Park, and where would you build it? Warner Brothers, again, it'd have to be Six Flags. I can't imagine they will ever come back to Europe, because I think it's one of those where they tried it, they got their fingers burnt and went, no thanks, we'll pass on that.
Isn't that new one in the Middle East? Six Flags.
Yeah.
I think so, I'm not sure.
There is a new Six Flags, Qadiyah or whatever it is, isn't it?
Yes, with the
Saudi Arabia.
World's tallest and fastest coaster.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are sceptical if that'll ever happen, but that is going to happen.
Yeah, so
I am certain that's going to happen.
If that becomes a success, then they may look at it in the future.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But that would have to run first, I think.
If that was to open, I think it'd be one of those where we'd say we're going to have to go and do it.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think because it'd be intimate, I think it'd be excellent.
Agreed.
Quickly touching on, are you excited for Pleasure Beach Freak Nights?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Ha 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 to Sam Harrison. We've never seen that comment before. So, you are being hidden. Goodbye. Yeah. I think we've been recommended to ask the audience some questions. So, which Halloween events is everybody looking forward to doing? Will you be going to Tully's? Will you be going to Alton Towers Scarefest? Will you going to Pleasure Beach Freak Nights? Which ones will you be doing? Thorpe Park Fright Nights? Definitely be interested to see what people think about that. In terms of roller coasters that we'll be looking at doing next year, I think we'll definitely be hitting some big numbers on coaster counts next year in terms of, obviously if restrictions drop even further. We've got the America event in June.
The America puts me to the big 300, theoretically.
Yeah. It should put us to 400. Should.
If I can get other stuff in, I could well end up at 350.
Yeah. certainly worth a try.
For example, if I could have done the European edition to the southern trip I did this year, I could have got another 15 or 20 coasters, I think, quite easily.
Definitely. So Becca, I'm going to bring you in on shot for a second for this one. So you're replacing the dinosaur. So California, do you want to talk about your trip? Because now the borders are open, it's happening. So
it is happening.
You want to talk about why California, where in California, and are you making it a longer trip than we planned originally?
I'm not saying too much about it because it's a trip for me and I just don't want to give that away, and I'm absolutely not having anyone go with me. It is a trip on my own.
Which you've been desperate to do for a long time, to be
yes,
fair.
I do like to travel on my own. It makes things a lot easier. But the reason for California is that basically my bucket list ride is there and bucket list coaster is there. So for coaster and park, my words don't work very often.
Would you like to sit down?
No, it's alright. It doesn't make it any better. You know this.
I do. I'm just trying to be helpful.
So for park, it's Knott's Berry Farm.
Yep.
I can't really say why. It just looks like one of these parks that I need to do. They also do one of the best looking theme park foods I've ever seen, although it does rely on going at Halloween, and that's the pizza burger. It looks awesome. No, it really looks good.
We'll show you the video.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was so convinced by it, I gave the video a like before and he got halfway to the end. I was just like, I like this video, it looks good, that does.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into Halloween, so I might actually have to do their Halloween at one point. And the coaster is Revolution. It needs to be done. It's just, I don't know, any real enthusiast has to want to do that ride. It's history. That ride holds history. And also, if you've ever seen the film Roller Coaster, you have to want to do the ride.
Several times with you, funnily enough.
Funny that. But I will be covering... It got way over 1,000 miles when I plotted my trip. There will be... I mean, if Desperado opens, I'll also be taking a short detour.
I'd just like to mention...
100 miles.
I'd just like to mention, if Desperado opens, Becca's trip will no longer be a solo trip.
Yeah.
Captain Arrow fanboy here will be on the first flight out as well.
Yes, I will be covering over 50 coasters. It's getting close to 60 now for what I've added in. So...
Sounds like a standard trip to America, that.
Yeah, but I will be driving. I've had a lot of people keep telling me I'm ridiculous, I'm completely mad for wanting to drive in California, but I will drive anywhere. It cannot be any worse than driving in Poland.
Not seeing her driving.
I love driving.
Will add to the chaos, trust me.
Corners I will fit in there.
Two corners will be like this, it'll be like the big ones turn around any of the corners, if there is any, and it's just going to be crazy. You've been asked if you'll vlog it, but we've already said that you're not going to do that because it's your trip, not a PBE trip. So you'll probably get pictures though, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, I'll get plenty of pictures, and if we're still vlogging at that point, I'll do a write-up about it. But
yeah.
I won't be going and doing every single coaster. I won't be queuing for kiddies rides. I won't be doing the wacky worms. My coaster count is going to go very slowly because I am going for quality over quantity. I'm not interested in the big number. I would rather do proper, right?
Proper creds.
Proper creds. But I'm almost tempted to say it has to be at least motorway speeds or more to count as a cred.
Becca tried a biscuits and gravy for breakfast at Knott's. Totally amazing.
Absolutely not. What they try to pass off as gravy is not happening. Absolutely.
Biscuits and gravy?
Sounds like a perfect combination.
Rich teas and gravy. I might as well stick some cheese on it. Why not?
No.
Rich tea, he'll fall apart.
Alright, 2 dips then, digestives, we'll do that.
Yeah, I've got to say I'm not a fan of the way they do food over there. I think I might well be going to Denny's quite a lot. I do quite enjoy Denny's.
So, while you're here, would you consider a Pleasure Beach Experience European road trip event for the future? Yes.
Absolutely. I've written it up.
This person is planning it. I've been made redundant on that one.
It's exciting as well, and it's very practical.
It is. And if that happens, it will be not next year, the year after, and we will hire a coach for everybody.
Yes.
And Mike will be your...
He'll be like Brendan.
Yes, he will. White shirt and a clipboard, and he'll have activities for you every day, which will consist of riding roller coasters.
Yeah. Today we are going to ride roller coasters.
The problem is, whoever comes on the trip, you'll be trying to make sure Mike stays awake. That's the issue.
That's the task
That
at
is,
hand.
that is the task. Keep him awake for the long journeys. If you manage that, then all good. So, would you go back to Poland?
Yes.
At the right time, I would.
Let's not talk about how long you queued for everything when you went.
All of Poland was in Energylandia when I went. Every single person was there.
The funny thing is, every picture and person posted between when Becca went, it was walk on and everything. Becca goes, the whole country's there.
Right, it really annoyed me all week leading up to Energylandia. Every bloody enthusiast was there. You've all been. You all went just because I was going on the Saturday. You all
Yeah,
went
right.
all week. And then there were people that were there on Sunday and the following week after that, and it was dead.
You see, everybody wanted to
I
go
could
when you
not
went, so
move.
it was nice and busy for you.
2 hours for Zadra. Just as well it was good. Just as well that bloody thing was
I
good.
wonder how many times we went on Zadra in 2 hours.
Don't.
We
About
went there.
14 times.
Did we do 5 laps in the last 45 minutes?
To put in perspective of how busy this park was, it was scheduled to close at 5. They extended to 9.
That is an extension of epic proportion.
I had to leave no later than 6:30 to get back to the airport. So I didn't even get any of that extra time. And I was parked in a cornfield 10 bloody miles away from the park.
Don't mention cornfields, they'll get nervous.
Yeah,
Right.
and that whole day I got 4 rides in and I did nothing else. I went ride to ride and I got 4 rides in.
Somebody's mentioned that IHOP is amazing. I believe you like it.
It is. I enjoy IHOP.
And someone's asked you, Dennis, seriously.
Love it.
Fair enough. Right, so one question we'd prepared for, and it's taken a while to be asked, which is excellent. Do you have any bucket list parks or coasters? We have these wrote down.
I've just answered that, so...
No, we don't have them wrote down.
No,
We didn't prepare
we
for this
discussed this.
Desperado is at the top
one.
of the list.
Desperado.
Arrow Hypercoaster.
X2.
X2. Six Flags.
Magic Mountain.
Excellent. Cool. I think we're going to wrap up soon. It has nearly been 3 hours. Probably longer than we were planning on. So, anything else that you guys want to talk about in terms of the Halloween season?
Not a lot for me.
Not a lot for you. Anything? Any last comments and thoughts and stuff like that?
It's been nice knowing everyone.
I am going to try and organise this dance off with you and Carl. I have got an
a
idea.
peg leg.
I have got an idea in mind, and I'm
It'll
going
be
to
even
speak to
funnier.
somebody about it. And if I can make it happen on camera.
Not happening.
Why?
I've got a peg leg. Well, I play still dance better than Carl, but
We'll soon find out if he's still watching or not, won't we? But yeah, I might even step in for you then.
thanks, mate.
If you have a go first.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bit of an idea, so I'm going to work on it over the next couple of days. There is quite a few stages in Tully's.
There is. Very big one.
Probably a bit of a bigger crowd than at Oktoberfest Pleasure Beach though.
Yeah, it is.
Although Ian Mears could do it in his Oktoberfest outfit. He's
Yeah.
lederhosen again.
Yeah.
Emma says, do you need an outfit?
No. Especially not one that you buy, Emma.
Carl does. Carl definitely does. Hello, Techie2 Edits. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I think that's it really. So, do you think Pleasure Beach will do late night Fridays again next year?
I
hope so. I'm not certain. I guess we'll see. I wouldn't like to comment if Oakwood is the worst theme park in the country. I don't think it's fair to kick any park whilst things are so tough for them. Especially as, alright, we've not got massive influence, but people may watch one of our videos and go, they said this park's awful or the worst, so we're never going, so I wouldn't like to be responsible for that. Best night ride at Thorpe Towers?
Stealth.
What about Towers?
At Towers, best night ride.
13.
Is it open at night?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Best night ride, Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Yeah. Oblivion's good in the dark, to be fair. Ian says beep off. Here for the dance off, scared of what you're planning, and hell no, Emma, no more outfits. That's Carl.
Yeah,
Oh,
agreed.
I bet he's secretly sat in that pink swimming costume right
He probably
now.
sat in his swimming costume, praying for another terrible outfit.
He's probably buying that Lucasade thing that he had last time.
Yeah.
Most wanted rollback top frill dragster.
Dragster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. And I'm going to do one more question. Do you think Blackpool Pleasure Beach will ever build a B&M?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not my favourite type of coaster, so I hope not, but I can see it.
I can see it too.
I want one just for the noise.
They don't make them like they used to.
I don't know what they build.
Oh, I do.
Dive coaster.
Yeah, it
Dive
would have to
coaster.
be a dive coaster.
Think space. Not astronaut space. But yeah, I could see it happening. Dive coaster. Yeah, we're going to call it time. So, coming up quickly, Thursday, 6:30, Pleasure Beach. I was going to say Pleasure Beach Experience vlog, obviously. Blackpool Pleasure Beach vlog on Thursday, 6:30. Mostly me and Mark in it. Occasional appearance from Jimmy. Blackpool Pleasure Beach in the dark. Then we're at Tully's on Friday and Saturday. So Sunday at 6:30, maybe a bit earlier because we want to get the Tully's video on and get the event out there. But I think it'll be 6:30 on Sunday, probably, well, definitely it's going to be Tully's. Following on from that, there is going to be, on the following Thursday, there's actually going to be 2 uploads. And it's my birthday a week on Thursday, so I've got a busy birthday. And after that will be Hallow Scream York and The Howl and lots of Halloween stuff, and I haven't fully planned on the exact schedule after next week, but it's going to be a Halloween overload. But there is still going to be Blackpool Pleasure Beach content, there is still going to be theme park content. It's not all going to be Halloween stuff, but there is going to be a lot of Halloween stuff. I'm going to try and make this dance off happen with Carl and Mark, and if we can make it happen I might even join in myself. Might as well look an idiot once a year. So on that bombshell, as we've been seeing on Top Gear watching the old ones, we're going to end it on that bombshell. But many thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.